Who said I'm late? Huh? Who says the sky blue? Yo, what's up, guys? All right, give me a sec. Give me a sec. Let me set up. Let me just get the chapter open. Lord of Mysteries. Beautiful. Beautiful. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Starting chapter. Look, it's my giant G Fuel sign. All right, let me pop out chat. Okay, we're chill. Opening up my notepad. Wait, before I start, let me go get my phone just because the missus is sick. So in case she needs help or something. Yeah, look. I'll show you guys right now. You guys should have saw me, man, last year at Anime Expo. I had 3 of these fuckers, man. I had to cut 2 apart to kind of hide, to kind of block Ellie from her haul or crate thing, whatever it's called, the cage, because she would climb over it, man, little rascal. So I had to cut one up to kind of like cover the edges. But here, notepad is opening now. Okay, let me pop out chat, and then let me run outside and go get my phone. Just because she's not back. She's still out, but she's kind of sick. So if she needs help, I'm gonna have to help her grab some stuff. Let me just grab the chapter ready. We are at 550. Beautiful. Getty plaster on his nose like Naruto. He's always farming the G Fuel just in case. Yeah, we always gotta farm the G Fuel sponsor just in case, man. You never know. You never know. You never know, man. If it actually happens, you never know. If you never know, bro. We're gonna go crazy on those G Fuel sponsors if it does happen. All right, chat, perfect. It's open. Now we're gonna open up our notes. All right, here, let me go get my phone and then we'll continue. Wow, we're fucking muted. My dumbass. All right, that's all good. It's all right. I just said you never know. Did you get G Fuel sponsored, bro? It's 1 a.m. for. Oh, I'm so sorry, Larry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is like right now the only time I've been able to stream. Because if I stream like before I go to bed, it ruins my whole sleeping schedule. Let me just take out my phone, and in case the missus calls, I know. Is it how you feeling? The big day is almost here. What big day? The web novel release. The web novel release is almost here. Anime Expo is almost there. What's up, Licking? Ooh, I'm hoping and I'm praying, man, that they sell like early copies at Anime Expo. Dunkwa, this is gonna be so good. I just brushed my teeth. That's so fucking gross, man. That's fucking nasty. LOTM, it's gonna be so fucking good. All right, let me get my notes ready. I mean, my notepad ready. We have the awesome intro, and we have the overall thoughts right here. Why do I have pregnant live stream? Oh, I think that was to make a... I think that was to make a fucking timestamp for that part when we first did it. That's funny. You know what's fucking wild, man? My volume 2 notes are... It's coming along. And I finally read the damn line where he was like, there has to be something above sequence 0. It was... What was it? Klein said that the ancient sun god... Because he took in so many authorities, like, he's above 0. Like this is more than just 0. That's all he said. And just one sentence, and he's like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. I guess because we never even, like, finished our notes from volume 2. I guess that's why I never thought about that. Is that light? Yeah, there's on. All right. Well, we're good. Let's continue. I don't know. I feel like the more authorities you take in, the closer you are to the original creator, maybe. Like, maybe that's what it is. Like, above sequence 0 is like you become him. You should keep the volume 3 notes live updated. I know. Oh, I finished my volume 1 note, so I will post that on Discord. Cooking. I'll post that on Discord. Yeah, and then when I finish volume 2 notes, hopefully by this week I'll post that, and then I can finally start volume 3, and then we'll use like a Smurf email or whatever, and then we'll just like a burner email, and then like we'll have that one live so anybody can like tune in and check it out whenever. But chapter 550. Let's put the volume up a little bit. So we're trying chapters today. You know what? We're gonna hopefully stream for 2.5 hours. But I told Wiz I'm gonna be available completely a few extra days on the weekdays in the next week or two. I was gonna like, yo man, can I get a few days off? And they're like, bet, we're gonna look into it. So when I get those days off, it's nothing with the missus. It's just to read LOTM. It's like I'm trying to get some PTO specifically to read LOTM. So hopefully it works out. Yeah, because you know I'm trying to save my hours. But let's see. Let's get this ready. 550. Everything's good up there. All right. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you guys are excited. But yeah, definitely not 20 chapters today, but 20 chapters soon. I'm hoping this summer we can do like 10 to 15 chapters like every other day or so. Hopefully. Knock on wood. Let me keep my phone right here to the side just in case. Volume 4 before the Nunqua. 3 weeks. I think we can do it. Hold up. That's right. We'll do the math later. We have about 200 chapters left. 20 days. We need to read about 10 a day. Ooh, maybe not. We'll see what we're doing. One day we can do like 30, 40 chapters. But for now, keep reading. Hold up. Let me make sure I don't have a booger. I realized on one of my videos I had a booger for like a good 5-10 minutes, just kind of like lingering there, you know? And then after I did this, it went away. We're just make sure we got how many chapters till 4? People said it was like 200 chapters left. People said it ends around like the 750 mark, like roughly. That's all I know. Why isn't I don't hear any music? Are you guys ready? The audio sounds a little high, but if it's too high, too low, you guys let me know. But today we're reading Lord of the Mysteries, Volume 3, Chapter 550. Wiz is on our tail. So we gotta keep the lead for as long as we can before we get past. So 550, the negative effects of the sealed artifact. Oh, and if you guys haven't watched it, we have a volume 2 discussion video up on the channel. That was fun. We had a fun little discussion with Wiz. I know how to sometimes it was weird. I went back and I listened to it. I have moments where I'm thinking things in my head, but I don't tell him, and then I completely say something else, and I'm like, wait, I didn't tell him that. And then like I feel too awkward to bring it up again. So like we move on to like something else. All right, but for now, chapter 550. All right, let's go. I think that was a beautiful intro. Right under a minute. Look at that. Beautiful, perfect. All right, awesome intros out the way. We are at 0. Music sounds a little loud. I can already tell the music's a little loud at least on my end. So let's lower it to 70. And then I'm gonna lower it for you guys on your end, just a smidge too. That way it just stays as like background music and it's like nothing too crazy. Alright. After some resting... Oh, I forgot we were with the sea god. It's been like 4 or 5 days, dude. After some resting with the sea god's scepter, he has a scepter. You're right. You're right. He has a scythe, right? Oh, dude, it's so good. Yeah, that's a pretty good theory. I love I love how easy theory it was. Monica plus Maki because glasses and Wiz had a whole ass like it's like I'm just like I'm a sucker, you know. Two molecules. Look. This is all I got. 2 of these suckers equals 1 of these, and you know, and that's gonna be the true one. Now that was more like a fun theory, but it'd be pretty cool, dude. Yeah, it'd be pretty fun if something like that actually happens, like unironically. After wrestling with the Sea God Scepter, Klein gained a preliminary understanding of its powers. It could create tsunamis, What? It could create tsunamis, create hurricanes, produce torrential rain, and bring forth lightning. It could allow a person to fly in the sky and roam the seabed with almost no restrictions. It was nearly indescribable and can be used to smash an enemy's head in. It allowed the wielder to never get lost without the existence of any other powerful factors. It would provide an unimaginable level of balance, drive many sea creatures to do one bidding, respond to prayers from believers, and also allow the reader to obtain the same kind of strength as a sea monster. It was equivalent to making the wielder of the ruler of an entire expanse of the sea. To Klein, this was already considered the level of a deity. Even on Earth, he could resist an aircraft carrier formation. What the fuck? Although he was a sequence 4 with plenty of pragmatic beyonder powers, making him genuine powerhouse, a legendary figure in the eyes of ordinary people, he was still weak in essence. He was closer to the man. He was still closer to man rather than God. If the situation was right, a revolver would be able to finish him off. Of course, his resurrection and act of climbing out of the coffin was a whole other matter. As for the powers of the Sea God Scepter, is he going to be wielding a scepter? As for the powers of the Sea God Scepter, they had all surpassed the level of man. In the folklore and in the hearts of common man, he possessed the powers of a deity and devils. No wonder Beyonders are called demigods from Sequence 4. They truly are more like God than man. Klein silently sounded with emotion, and then he made a self-deprecating comment. This is a demigod level artifact. This is so sick. Scepter, not scythe. Okay, scepter, not scythe. My bad. It's like a wand made out of Calvatua's fang. Okay, got it. Yeah. Oh, you're right. It was his fang, basically. This is a demigod level artifact. Imagine the power. He can control a whole ass sea air. Dude, oh shit, dude. Oh, you know, he's getting closer to. He might be able to take on the King of Seas in a few sequences. Yeah, you never know, dude. We'll see how clutch the scepter comes in. No wonder Beyonders are called demigods from Sequence 4. They truly are more like God than man. Klein silently sounded with emotion, then he made a self-deprecating comment. If I use the Sea God Scepter under normal circumstances, I can already be a high-ranking Decon of the Nighthawks, becoming one of the 20-odd people with the most power than Church. If Ince Zengwil didn't have 008 and was at sea, I could immediately seek revenge on him. There might even be a small chance of success, but I can use the Sea God Scepter normally? Ah, no. Klein had already discovered that the negative effects of the Sea God Scepter... staggering? How bad is it? Klein had already discovered that the negative effects of the Sea God Scepter were staggering, and the Church of the Evernight could easily attain the evaluation of a Grade 1 sealed artifact, and countless researchers would have to die to figure out the best sealing and usage method. Yeah. This is so sick, dude. Well, technically it was a false demigod. Yeah, right. Oh, snap. Yeah, don't worry, man. I have myself muted sometimes, too. It happens, Cammy. It happens to the best of us. The Sea God... Wait. I lost my place. This wouldn't be stream mode and lose my place. The Sea God Scepter had a total of three negative effects. Okay. First, it made the wielder irritable, making them prone to anger and turning rash as a result. Okay, that's going to lead to loss of control. Second, it periodically froze all thoughts of biological creatures in a certain range before draining their blood, including the wielders. Okay, but this is where he uses the blood vial, you know, to counteract it. All right, we just go back with Father Trotsky. Perfect. As for how huge the range was and what the exact period was, Klein, who wasn't a professional researcher, could give a precise description. He could only give a rough estimate that the range was from 600 meters to 1 kilometer, and the period was 20 minutes to 35 minutes. Third, it would gather and display the prayers of worshippers, both audio and visual. This very easily caused a non-demigod wielder who had a lacking spirit to break down and lose control. Okay, so this, he shouldn't be wielding this, so he's like past Sequence 4. The first I love one place on the stream. Hopefully we keep it to just that one. The first negative effect is alright. If I were to only use it for a short period of time, the anger and irritation would still be acceptable. To put simply, I'll just end things rashly with such a powerful sealed artifact. For the third... Oh, that was only the second. I'm sorry, how much is a kilometer in miles? 2.1 miles, right? For the third, there's actually a way to avoid it. The sea god's response to its believers must have a distance limitation. That is to say that beyond the Rorschach Archipelago and the nearby sea regions, there will be no signal. That's still such a long range, dude. So one wouldn't be influenced by it. Yes, if it's constantly placed above the Grey Fog, I believe this can break the distance limitation. The prayers, voices, and scenes would be screened, turning into points of light. Oh. Oh, okay. Hold up. Grey Fog is coming in clutch. I believe this can break the distance limitation. The prayers, voices, and scenes would be screened, turning into points of light. It wouldn't affect me in any way. I can then choose whether to reply, who to reply to, and how to reply. Sounds like we're getting a new Terror Club member through this. Definitely a cheat code. All right, we're definitely going to get a new Terror Club member through this. It has... All right, next Terror Club member is going to be a pirate. That's all we're going to leave it at. And when replying, I can use the powers of the Sea God Scepter. The biggest problem is the second one. I myself am fine. As Black Emperor, I'm considered a Wraith. I wouldn't have blood, so there's... Dude, he found so many ways to cheat at using this item. As Black Emperor, I'm considered a Wraith. I wouldn't have blood, so there's no need to be afraid of being sucked dry. However, the surrounding creatures will be in trouble. After all, it doesn't distinguish between friends and foe. Oh, besides, the frequency is quite unpredictable. It's impossible for me to first discuss with the enemy when I encounter danger about changing our time and place. Klein carefully thought about certain scenarios of him using the Sea God Scepter, but it all depended on the environment and accurate judgment, so it wasn't very feasible. Could its fate be to stay above the Grey Fog when people like Amon attempt to creep up? Oh, I'll give them a bashing no. A bolt of lightning? Dude, he's definitely pro finding loopholes. Yes, there's another usage method. When people like Miss Justice and Mr. Hangman seek my help, I'm no longer limited to using paper angels. I can provide rain and produce some wind. Ooh. My man is already becoming God, bro. Like, he's literally making it rain. Of course, it can be done like the purifying powers of the Sun Brooch using Paper Angel as a vessel. On some serious thought, I can fully appear like a true demigod above the Grey Fog with the help of a Sea God Scepter. Klein's mood gradually became better as he discovered the Sea God Scepter wasn't completely unusable at the moment. It opened up many more options and avenues for him. He withdrew his attention and once again looked at the white bone scepter with blue gems embedded at the top. He pondered over another question, and that was whether or not he should respond to the prayers of the followers of the Sea God. We're definitely going to get a new member through here, so he probably should. Calvatua is already dead. There's no need to give these people another target of their faith. But even if the living priests and high-ranking members of the Resistance notice the abnormality and no longer receive any responses, they still wouldn't accept the worst outcome for a long period of time. People will often hold out hope and are accustomed to comforting themselves and hypnotizing themselves. This is especially the case when they're in a perilous situation with no hope to be seen. Just like the City of Silver, after 2,000 years, they're still consecrating the Creator, believing that they have been abandoned and they would receive a response one day. That is to say that the fervent believers of the Sea God will not stop their life sacrifices just because they didn't receive a response. Being unconvinced that Calvatua had already perished, instead they would become worse, hope to gain the favor of their god and be more rash. Without years of promotion, all good. Without years of promotion and setbacks, it will be difficult for them to realize the truth. Without the support of a native deity like Calvatua, the Resistance would probably fall entirely into Phase 6 or Intis camp. At that time, they will most likely be driven to the inhuman things such as attacking places where civilians gather or to make children who still retain their innocence act as meat shields. Okay, so this, I feel like it's actually kind of bad. So it's not that good that we make this item. I feel like there's some really negative effects to just killing Calvatua, dude. I need to give them some guidance. Ooh, the fool. He's like, I'm not actually, like, I've been disguised as Calvatua this whole long. I'm really the fool. So now he's going to turn all the Calvatua believers into fool believers. I need to give them some guidance. I need to tell them what the correct way of practicing their faith is, but I should only help them without burdening myself. I'm not responsible for saving their fates. Klein gently wrapped the edges of the long table model table and suddenly chuckled. Wasn't I supposed to act? Sea God Calvatua is quite a good target. I'm sorry. Is he going to act as Sea God Calvatua? What better way to digest Faceless than to literally act as a sea god? What? I wonder if I'll get any setbacks with the Gray Fox interference. I have to give it a try and figure it out. Klein quickly made his decision, feeling strangely refreshed. He deliberated for a moment. First, he conjured a necessary scene. Then he held onto the sea god scepter, spreading out his spirituality before touching one of the points of light. Okay, here's the first, our first sucker. Here we go. In a hidden cave in the forest. Oh, wait, hold. Sucker is a strong word. Our first victim. No, our first target. Oh, and our first experiment. In a hidden cave in the forest of the Blue Mountain Island, the bald rebel Kalat fell from his... Oh, this guy. He fell from his wheelchair, his eyes filled with despair and confusion as he crawled towards the shattered figurine of Calvatua in front of him. He vaguely sensed something, but he was unwilling to believe it. This meant that all of his persistence and all of his sacrifices and all his pain would become meaningless. No, he screamed silently as he constantly muttered the honorific name of the sea god Calvatua in an attempt to get a response from the deity. With his elbows on the ground, his fingers reached into the soil as he moved towards the front of the shattered figurine 1 inch at a time. He picked up the head of the sea serpent that was carved out of stone, and he found that its eyes had collapsed inwardly to become a strange black hole, and its fangs were falling one after another. Kalat seemed to... I feel kind of bad for him. Yeah, he's no longer just a fraud. I do? Bro. No, don't switch. Thank you. Good call. Hold up. Let me turn... Enable desktop notifications? No. Enable unread message badge. Enable taskbar flashing? No. Let me turn all this off. Usually I use Discord like when I'm on it, so we'll just turn all this off. We'll turn off desktop notifications, so I think we're good. Yeah, because I realized it kept ringing when we're streaming. Not that bad. Discord sounds... Yeah, thank you guys. Good call, good call. I already closed... actually, I'll leave Discord open just in case. But yeah, everything should be muted now. So there should hopefully be no more audio. Let's not test it. Let me find my place. I didn't lose my place. Just be one. Do not disturb. Okay. Don't worry. I'm not gonna lose. I didn't lose my place. Let me just find where I was. That was carved out of stone, and he found its eyes had collapsed inwardly to become a strange black hole, and its fangs was falling onto the ground. Yes, I read that. Kalat seemed to freeze, the light in his eyes seemingly vanished. It was at this moment that he suddenly saw a blurry figure. Behind the figure was a dark blue tsunami, surging into the sky, and the streaks of silver lighting the branches on the tree branches. Amidst his shock, Kalat instinctively lowered his head, an unimaginable sense of joy surging inside him. And no way, he's gonna digest this potion pretty quickly, dude. He saw that the figure's feet was surrounded by waves, and there were hurricanes swirling around him. The figure was majestic and holy, high and almighty. Then he heard a calm and magnificent voice. I have returned. That's so sick, dude. As his voice echoed in the air, Kalat teared up for some inexplicable reason. 10 minutes after Klein left the bottom of the sea ruin, which was half merged with the spirit world, the seawater that filled this place suddenly churned and flowed backwards. In just 20 to 30 seconds, the inside of the elven ruin was so dry that it resembled dry land. A fresh hurricane blew in, bringing in breathable gas. One figure after another descended from the hurricane, and leading them was a tall and brawny middle-aged man. He appeared to be in his 40s with a face that was firm and deep lines. He accentuated his muscles filled with loose storm priest robes. He was none other than the Church of Storms, Cardinal Archbishop of the Rorsted Sea, high-ranking Daikon of the Mandated Punchers, Sea King John Coatman. Oh, it's the Sea King. Yeah, Sequence 3, right? Sequence 3? I have returned. Yeah, that's a pretty hard line. Sea King John Coatman. He had a pair of deep blue eyes, and his hair of the same color was twice as thick as a normal person's. Lucky for him. They were like small worms or tentacles. You know, that reminds me of the one from Pirates of the Caribbean, from Dead Man's Chest. I forget his name. Like the octopus-like face. That's pretty cool. Ew, they were like small worms or tentacles. Behind John Cotman were a number of mandated punishers and military personnel. They examined their surrounding expectantly and cautiously, not letting their guard down because of the demigod's protection up ahead. Bro took out Calvatua, but his characteristics are not there. So he's using different... Oh, you're right. There were no characteristics. Well, no, isn't that how we got the Sea Scepter? Or like all the remaining people, like they amassed and turned into the Sea Scepter. Yo, what's up? Welcome. I didn't lose my place, so we're going to continue from this. At this moment, they heard a snort, and they were immediately swept up by a hurricane, arriving at the doorway of the ruin in one fell swoop. Thank you, Davy Jones' locker. Duh. One fell swoop. They saw a huge... You know what? We're probably going to get Davy Jones' locker in Volume 3. Hold up. There's like no shot we don't put that in this volume. They saw a huge sea serpent reduced to a sludge of flesh and blood, with its bone exposed. Other than that, there was nothing else. Who is it? John Cutman suppressed his anger and growled. As he shouted these words, a sea wave crashed down from above. The sea wave reverberated in a half-collapsed hall, quickly calming to form a witness lake. The surface of the lake reflected the scene from before, an indescribable figure pulling up a short white staff inlaid with blue gems, causing the sea to churn and the ruins to quake. John Cutman took a deep breath and returned his back to the crowd. Find them? At that moment, Klein has selected a dozen or so believers to respond to, each of whom was relatively important, mainly by giving out a new covenant. I have returned. When the past is pardoned, I will redeem you. He's literally changing all of covenant to his believers. What the fuck? First commandment, thou shalt not sacrifice unto me living... Wait. Thou shalt not sacrifice unto me living human sacrifices. What the heck? Hold up. That line was so hard, my screen started turning on and off. What the fuck? Whoa, dude, we literally read a commandment and my fucking screen started flickering. What the fuck? That is so crazy, dude. My screens literally started flickering as we read that commandment. I know it's probably because it's hot, but that was so fucking immersive, dude. I thought my PC crashed on me. The commandment was so strong, my screen just turned black for like a second or two, and then they started flashing. Holy shit, that scared me, dude. That was fucking wild, bro. Holy shit. That was... Dude, I fucking felt Klein's presence right there. Damn, remember when we read our fanfic where like I felt him through the screen? That's literally like what that was, dude. That was fucking wild. All right, timestamp. 16 minutes, 28 seconds. We're jumping straight into it. Zero stalling, and we're gonna keep fucking reading, man. We need to keep the space before Wiz catches up, man. My goal... You know what? My goal is to my goal is to get to chapter 600 before him. So look, this is between you guys. I'm gonna call out. I don't know when, because I am gonna try and cop me the Switch 2 on Thursday, maybe Friday. But I might be sick those 2 days, so we'll find out. They remind me of the fanfic, bro. Hey, you know what, Kami? I got you guys a second. I got you guys a second fanfic. We're gonna read that one another day. Just a little hint. Just a little plot twist. Lenevus and Magoose go on a beautiful date to a bakery, and then there's a pretty crazy plot twist on the bakery shop owner. So you guys are gonna like that one. Now we'll read that one another day. We're gonna keep that one to Jazz at least for a little bit longer. So before Misty comes in and says I forgot to update 551. All right, man. Oh hell no. The loser will have to do a Sharon cosplay. It ain't gonna be me. And you know what? I already promised Audrey one. What's another one? You know, what's another cosplay? You know, hold up. Sharon outfit is kind of badass, so yeah, I wouldn't even be mad about that one. All right, chapter 551 is called the 10 Commandments. Is he gonna have 10 commandments or not? Because I'm gonna notice there's gonna be a little similarity here. All right, second commandment, thou shalt not use my name in vain. Third commandment, hold on, we gotta use a deeper voice. Third commandment, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Fourth commandment, honor thy father, thy mother, and thy children as you love me. Fifth commandment, thou shalt not commit adultery. Sixth commandment, thou shalt not kill the innocent. Seventh commandment, thou shalt not bear false witnesses. That's literally from the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not bear false witnesses, frame or violate contracts. Eighth commandment, serve me with your heart, not with your offerings. Ninth commandment, those who have committed lesser wrongdoings first atone for your sins before seeking forgiveness. 10th commandment, honor my name by helping your compatriots and companions. Dude, that's crazy, dude. One commandment after another echoed in the ears of the bald rebel Kalad, causing him to completely prostrate himself. He held his head close to the ground, uncontrollably trembling slightly with reverence, fear, and excitement. That's so cool. As the mid-sequence beyond, a rebel who had once been educated in the Phasic Empire, he had sufficient insight to understand the worship of the sea god. Oh, I dropped my mic. Was based more on fear of the powerful forces, fear of the fearsome natural risks, and mankind faced. And many rituals that retained primitive bloodshed, a backward faith that revealed inhuman and uncivilized practices, something that would be eliminated sooner or later. Fix my mic a little bit. However, the faith he had developed since he was young had made him afraid to go against the divine revelation. He could only bury the idea of modifying the ritual process deep in his heart and avoid the parts which conflicted with his own wishes as much as possible. Now the sea god's sudden change left him extremely delighted. It was as if he could see the so-called primitive totem the outsiders claimed it to be, evolved into a true god. Blessed are we, blessed are the rebels, blessed are the true believers. In his buried vision, Kalat raised his head, spread his hands sincerely, and placed them against his mouth. I will abide by your teachings as if I am praising your name. Shit, that is crazy, dude. That was so sick. Hey, wait, that wasn't my ping. Hold up, Cammy. I haven't heard mine ping yet. Shit, I fucking lied. I'm gonna close it. I literally have notifications. I literally have unmute, undeafen. I'm sorry. Help me out. Where is the do not disturb button on Discord? Hide muted notification mutes. I'm sorry. You guys gotta help me out. Where's the do not disturb button? What is the do not disturb button? Notifications. I literally thought I had it off. Why is it going off? Text to speech. How do I just mute all sound? Enable unread. Let me just close it. Bottom left. It's what I hit. Bro, left your profile. Bro, left your profile pic. Hold up. Let me do this. Let me... Yeah. Oh, I have to put myself in red. Duh. I'm set as invisible. Yeah. Set myself as charged. Got it. Edit profile. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Hold up. Fuck. Bro, I'm on do not disturb. Duh. Fuck, I'm an idiot. All right, we're good. We're chill. It's on do not disturb. We shouldn't get it anymore. Put it in red. Thank you, guys. I completely forgot it should be in red. Okay. Find my place. Alright, now the sea god's sudden change left him extremely delighted. It was as if he could see the so-called primitive totem the outsides claimed to be evolving into a true god. Blessed are we, let me read this part again. Blessed are we, blessed are the rebels, blessed are the true believers. In his blurred vision, Kalat raised his head, spread his mouth sincerely, and placed them against his mouth. I will abide by your teachings as if I'm praising your name. The blurry figure in front of him disappeared. The magnificent voice by his ears vanished, and the scene in the cave returned to its original state. However, Kalat knew that everything was no longer the same. He moved his elbow several times and quickly crawled back to his wheelchair. He once again sat on it and turned to the other side of the cave. Kalat quickly met with Edmonton, the member of the resistance, with a blue sea serpent tattoo was standing in front of the deity figurine that was bleeding abnormally. His forehead was a mix of scarlet and red and black, dirty and gruesome. However, Edmonton expressed was joyful, excited, and satisfied. He looked at Kalat and blurted out, "Did you receive the revelation?" Yes, it's the aura of the god, just like before. Kalat nodded in excitement. Not only has God reappeared over the land, but he has also rebuilt his covenant. I wonder who he is. Edmonton let out a sigh of relief. I was even suspecting that I was hallucinating before. It seems that as long as an outsider touches the holy sword, God will be able to walk the land again. There's no need for it to be completely lifted. Kalat chimed, "Indeed, the reason why the deity figurine shattered and bled it was because the god has changed his image." Like, oh, because he's becoming like more holy and righteous, right? God has changed his image. We must build a new one, just like the scenes we saw earlier. God also showed his sacred emblem. Above the symbol of the waves, there was a scepter in the shape of the lightning surrounded by the strong winds. That goes so badass, dude. Edmonton said as he recalled, Kalat immediately patted the armrest of the wheelchair. Let's find the high priest right now. He shall also receive the revelation. We will usher in a new world. Do not question God. Dude, this is crazy, dude. Klein is gonna start digesting. I think Wiz was right. He low-key did say, like, yo, Klein was gonna digest faces really fast. I think this is why. Now that he's acting as, like, Kalvatua, GG, it's over. Above the Great Fog, Klein put down the Sea God Scepter and rubbed his temples in exhaustion. Why would he be tired? Come on, man. He's making this look easy. He had noticed a problem earlier. The Sea God Scepter could respond to ritualistic magic, which meant that it could provide a certain amount of strength to help the worshipper complete the ritual and achieve their goals. However, it could only be concentrated within his domain and could not exceed the limit. Whatever could be done was relatively limited. For example, the Evernight Goddess could use the method of influencing fate to let her believers naturally obtain the money they needed to pay their debt. That is an old Neo callback. That was like a 400. That was like a chapter 100 flashback right there. As for the Sea God Scepter, it would at most produce fake money on the altar, and after a while, it would become ineffective and return to its true form. This is the difference between a false god and a true god. Besides, apart from the Grey Fog, as long as it fulfills the procedure and prayer, I'm gonna lower this down a little bit for you guys. Hold up. I think this is good. Let me read this part again. Besides, apart from the Grey Fog, as long as it fulfills the procedure and prayer, the Sea God Scepter is capable of automatically responding. I read this part. Above the Grey Fog, the scenes reproduce to the point of lightning. The Sea God Scepter is unable to automatically respond, hence it requires me to manually handle them. Oh, I thought it would be able to manually do it for it, so I can't. It requires me to manually handle them. This makes it relatively troublesome, and it's impossible for me to stay here all day. Of course, there's also a benefit to it. I'm sorry, is that foreshadowing or not? It's impossible for me to stay here all day. No such thing as impossible in this series. Of course, there's also benefit to it. As long as a prayer... Sorry, I'm stuck on this line a little bit too long. I remember I did say, hopefully we get a happy ending. I don't think we're going to get a happy ending. It's impossible for me to stay here all day. We'll find out. We'll find out if he really does get stuck in a Grey Fog. Of course, there's also a benefit to it. As long as a prayer doesn't have any mistakes and is accurately pointed towards the Sea God Scepter, regardless of how functionally the ritual is, they will be able to receive a response. The only criteria is that I'm in a good mood. And if he's in a bad mood, well, he's not going to do it. I'll think of a solution when I'm free. I'll make it so that even if the Sea God Scepter is above the Grey Fog, it would be automated. Oh, never mind. It will be an automated answering machine. Produce a paper angel. That's useless, and it doesn't have any soul injected into it. Make a mechanical and rigged puppet to handle the repeated and trivial ritualistic magic. Huh. I'm sorry. Are we going to get another world? Oh, wait, no. The world is going to take over when he's not above the Grey Fog. When Klein hits high sequence, he's going to be able to keep the world above the Grey Fog over time. You know how I've been saying he's going to become, like, sentient on of itself? Eventually, he's going to be responding to this of his own, like, volition, right? Huh. I wonder if a marionettist has powers related to this? Dude. Okay. Okay, so his puppeteer ability would be, like, controlling... like the world or others, you know, to like animate response. All right, hold up. This is kind of badass. I wonder if a marionettist has powers related to this. At the very least, Rosaga only showed traits of the controlling a person like a puppet. Wait, that's so funny. Yeah, when he used his characteristic, right? Same thing, like all the black strings would kind of cup out like a puppeteer. Yeah. As Klein's thoughts slowly settled, his eyes moved to the iron cigar case. After some research, he discovered the cigarette case had a severely corroded exterior, had undergone some abnormal changes. It was firmer, tougher, and more resistant to corrosion. However, it was still within a comprehensible and acceptable range of normal humans. It isn't equipped with any special properties. However, if it were placed here for a few years, decades, or even longer, when it holds all beyond characteristics... where it holds beyond characteristics and mystical items, perhaps it could really evolve into a sealing case whose effects would gradually fade one. Oh, so it would become like a sealing case. Okay, that's pretty cool. The corner of Klein's mouth twitched, and he turned his head to look at the junk pile in the corner. It's a junk. He has a mystical junk pile. They were covered by the Grey Fog, almost blending into the surroundings. Klein left dryly and looked away. He fiddled with the crushed golden wine cup again, confirming that there was nothing wrong with it. After doing all this, he entered the real world and summoned himself once more to bring the sun brooch and other items back to his room in the inn. At this very moment, the clouds in the sky had disappeared and the moon was scattered in its crimson tranquility. The entire city of Generosity Bayam remained asleep in its dreams. 9 a.m. cathedral waves. Algar was summoned, and by using his excuse of a confession, he once again met the diocese bishop, Chojo. Look for this person. Chojo handed over a portion in his hand. Another mission. What's going on recently? Algar muttered in his mind as he unfolded the piece of paper. When he saw the contents of the portrait, he almost couldn't control his laughter. German? It was impossible to tell that the figure in the portrait was a male or female, or by the look that he was he was supposed to find them. Oh, he's laughing because he doesn't know what it is. In a split second, he thought of something and didn't try to hide his change in mood. Instead, he deliberately blurted out, "Who is this?" The portrait depicted an illusion, blurry and mysterious person with no characteristics that could be aid in search. There was no such mission yesterday. A sudden demand to pursue this person this morning. What happened last night? Cavatua perished completely. Oh, they're talking about Klein. Cavatua perished completely. With that happening, the church and the military would definitely search for its remnants. Simon Island is a clue. The person took away the most important item ahead of him. Who is this person? Olger's heart skipped a beat and he almost didn't dare to meet Chojo's eyes. Chojo nodded. Olger working over. This guy really is working overtime. A dirty, despicable thief. He may be from Intis or Phasic, and he may belong to the Church of the Eternal Blazing Sun or the Church of God of Combat. Someone from Intis or Phasic, or someone from the Church of the Eternal Blazing Sun or the Church of God of Combat. Why would there be such a guessing conclusion? His Eminence, John Cutman, only received little information and the scenes was unable to pinpoint the target. In this case, it's indeed possible to presume that the person is from either Intis or Phasic as the main supporters of the resistance in the Cavatua, as from those two countries. This is a reason to believe that may have already known where Cavatua was hiding. I'm chugging up my saliva. It fits my theory from before. Of course, it can also be something else. Olger controlled his emotions and asked, what did he do? You don't need to know. Just pay attention to any abnormalities from people from Intis or the Phasic and Bayam. Yes, also include the locals who have become Beyonders. Also find the people who previously posted the notice on the front door of the cathedral. That was literally the Nits, right? They might know something and they could quickly give you further information. George ordered in a deep voice. This is indeed a direction. This is a tantamount to telling me that this person has something to do with the notice in the perishing of Cavatua. I wonder whose hands Cavatua's beyond a characteristic landed in. Wait till we go above the gray fog. I wonder whose hands Cavatua beyond a characteristic landed in. Who? Right. The world is in Bayam. Something happened to Cavatua no longer after he came here. Could this be Mr. Full's purpose? Would this help me in the process of removing the seal and regaining his strength? Olger's pupils contracted as he recalled his conjecture from a while. He overthinks so much. Bro was asked to find someone without even a description of who. That's like what am I supposed to do with that? It's like finding where's Waldo without even knowing what Waldo looks like, right? When he woke up, Klein, who had reaped a bountiful harvest last night, was unlifted and in a good mood. He decided to treat himself today and make sure that his 3 meals would appear sumptuous and delicious. As he pushed open the door and walked into the living room, he saw that Danitz was out of the bed, untying the badge and splint around his arm. He recovered that quickly. Klein was stunned for a moment. Seeing German Sparrow look over, Danitz chuckled and said, my ability at recovering isn't too bad. My sequence 9 is called Hunter. Seeing German Sparrow look over, Danitz chuckled and said, my ability at recovering isn't too bad. My sequence 9 is called Hunter. I'm sorry, he's part of the Hunter pathway? Was that revealed? The Nits. This is new, right? I received a clear improvement in various aspects of my body, allowing me to surpass ordinary humans. When it comes to combat, I experienced a great enhancement. Besides, I'm already the Nits pathway finally. Okay, where is he shooting fireballs from? I'm sorry. How is he able to shoot? Colin Iliad wasn't able to shoot fireballs. He relies on potions, so it has to be an artifact that's helping him. My sequence 9 is called Hunter. This is so sick, dude. All right. I received a clear improvement in various aspects of my body, allowing me to surpass ordinary humans. When it comes to combat, I experienced a great enhancement. Besides, I'm already at sequence 7. Was he not a demon hunter? Really? Oh. I thought he was a demon hunter. Oh, demon hunter is not hunter pathway, right? Got it. Sequence 9 hunter, demon hunter is a sequence. Okay, oh, I'm so dumb. I thought demon hunter was part of the hunter pathway because it had hunter in it. Colin, okay, you're right. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. It's warrior, not hunter. For some reason, I thought demon hunter was part of hunter. My bad. What? Wouldn't it make more sense if it was part of hunter? All right. It's part of warrior. Yeah, because you're more of a warrior. Okay, got it. Hunter, you're like hunting your prey. All right, that's different. Demon hunter is just bad. Okay, all right. Sequence 9 hunter, I've killed one, and I know the corresponding sequence name is Conspirer. Okay, I'm gonna have to double check my notes. I do not remember this. Klein suddenly recalled the first enemy he encountered back when he first arrived in Beckland. It had sucked him into a maelstrom, and he was almost unable to extract himself from. Sequence 8 Provoker. Yeah, Klein asked in passing. He had long since guessed that Danitz. Oh, Danitz is going to be a new Terror Club member, huh? Yeah, he's going to want to hit Sequence 6 soon. He had long since guessed Danitz beyond her pathway from his adept adaptness at using fire. It was the red priest pathway which Rizzo had called a true man. Sequence 7 was called the pyro. Let me see if I can pronounce it. I originally thought this was going to be part of the seer pathway, but it wasn't. When they were talking about sequence, when we were talking about it first back then, provoker see. Sequence 7 was called the Pyromaniac, also known in ancient times as Fire Mage. Oh, okay. So in ancient times, it was called Fire Mage. The Nits froze for a second, thinking that German Sparrow was doubting him. He subconsciously raised his voice. Do you think I'm not good at provoking? Nah, he's pretty good at it. No, I'm an expert in this field. He's like, I'm somewhat of a pro. All right, next chapter, dude. Let's fucking keep reading, dude. All right, zero stalling. Let's fucking keep going. And speaking of stalling, after a chapter, I'll make a quick phone call. I'm gonna just check in on the missus. Since she's sick, I just want to make sure she's feeling okay. All right, timestamp 31 minutes. It'll be like a 2-minute call. Copy. Probably like a 1-minute call. We'll see right now. All right, next chapter. Oh, I like update here, and we jump straight into it. All right. I'm gonna read it to her when she's going to sleep. Like, instead of reading like a child's book or like, you know, reading a different like story. And today, Lord of Mysteries, Clan Moretti. that is the goal. That is the goal. The goal is to get her into Lord of the Mysteries when Ndunghua drops. Then it's through the splint and bandages into the trash. Flex his left arm and said, typically a pirate's provocation is an insult, but I'm different. I do targeted insults. This requires one to grasp a lot of information and rumors and also understand I cannot read this word out loud. Provocation target.
This requires one to grasp a lot of information and rumors and also understand the provocation.
Thank you. Provocation target. Only by doing this will you be able to make him lose his mind and cause his brain to blurt out with a single sentence. He paused for a second and said, just like with Steel, you can curse him, calling him dog shit, or you can curse his parents and captain, but that will be useless. However, if you do an action and throw in a line with that, he will definitely turn into a bull who only sees red. All right. With that, the Nits put his hands on his hips, held his crotch and Wait, this is so fucking funny. With that, the Nits put his hands on his hips, held his... I'm gonna hold the mic. Hold up. This is gonna be our representation. He held his crotch and shouted in a low, scornful voice, bitch. I really want to hit him. He lives up to being a provoker. Indeed, Steel Mavetti has such tendencies and hobbies. Tisk. Klein loosened his subconsciously clenched fist. This is what you call a professional provocation. Oh my god, I cannot read. One more fucking time.
This is what you call professional provocation.
This is what you call professional provocation. The Nit spread out his hands in conclusion. If I meet a beast, a monster, someone who cannot be communicated with since they had lost control, I can provocatively emit a feeling that they hate. This is a beyond their power. Dude, you need to be you actually need it, like, unironically, you actually need to be skillful if you want to be a troll in this world. Like, you can't just be like an amateur troll. You got to be a good troll. People with such beyond their powers would either be great at receiving beatings or they would be great at escaping. Clearly, you belong to the latter. Damn, Klein cursed inwardly. Look at that. He's taking shade, bro. He's throwing shots. Without having to worry about his injured left arm, the Nits was in a good mood as he continued. Actually, I'm very good at setting up traps. It's a pity that you didn't agree with my plan when hunting Steel Mavetti. Klein resisted the twitching of his mouth and calmly replied, you still have a chance. What chance? The Nits asked out of curiosity, like, oh shit, where are we going to next? A chance to set up traps for Beyonders such as Steel. One by one, I'll introduce you to them. Klein smiled. Like, we got a lot more hunts to go through, dude. The Nits was momentarily at a loss for her. Oh, that's so funny. Wait, hold up. German Sparrow has, you know, like the like, what was it? German, the hunt begins tonight. He's always hunting for a new target. The Nits is part of the hunter pathway. What a coincidence. The Nitz was momentarily at loss for words. He knew very well that the traps were often ineffective against a man who wasn't afraid of guns, projectiles, fires, or water. The Nitz let out a hollow chuckle and turned to look out the window. The weather has cleared up. Does this mean that the serpent Calvatua is dead? Klein answered tersely without hiding the truth. The Nitz exhaled, hesitated, and then said, regardless, after the city-wide sweep, if you pirates will dare to come to Bayam for some time, they will definitely include Admiral Blood. Your plan of hunting him with Captain might have to come to an end. The Sonia Sea is so big, so it's very difficult to find a fleet that intentionally hides their whereabouts. Moreover, they can head to the Fox Sea, Berserk Sea, the North Sea, and the Polar Sea. What about the... Did it say the Fox Sea or not? Oh yeah, the Fox Sea was literally the first one. If it was that easy to kill a pirate Admiral Sea, the church and the military would have done it a long time ago. He hasn't met German Sparrow. Let me return to the Golden Dream as soon as possible. The Nitz lampooned under his breath. Don't worry, I have a way to do this. I have a way, and this will be your job. Klein asked without batting an eyelid, what's your captain's opinion? He had already spent 12 pounds to obtain a radio receiver through Force, but he had been too busy with the matters regarding the sea god to bother with it. Hence, he hadn't taken out from the junk pile above the Grey Fog to bring the real world. Meanwhile, Klein had received the money from Miss Justice and Mr. Hangman, raising his fortune to 7,085 pounds. And 5 gold coins. A wealth at this level was enough to buy a rather large and productive manor anywhere. If it wasn't for my revenge and my hope of finding a way back to Earth, I could have already retired, Klein thought in satisfaction. Captain's opinion, the Nitz forced a smile and said, although Captain and the others should have entered within a 500 nocturnal mile radius, in theory allowing the attempt of a soul fall ritual, you should know that the sea routes aren't entirely safe. Pirates have to be careful not to get caught by the military or the church. For this, they often need to... I thought it was talking about force. No, they just said for. Even the Nitz is lampooning now? Definitely, dude. I think he's taking after German. For this, they often need to take detours. I believe we should wait another day before doing the soulfall ritual so as to prevent any wastage of energy and materials. Okay, Klein didn't give an affirmative answer and had turned towards the washroom. He planned on heading out again today in search for a chance to act as another person. Ooh. Seeing German Sparrow's back, the Nitz exhaled. I must first contact Captain in private and persuade her to let me return to the Golden Dream before I can use the soulful ritual in front of you. German Sparrow is someone who likes to head out. I have plenty of opportunities in space. Heh. Don't tell me that he enjoys shopping, the Nitz thought, curling his lips. After leaving the cathedral ways, Oliver Wilson went straight for the Ralph Trading Company in reflection and found the owner who was reading a newspaper. He was well aware that this middle-aged man in formal attire, bow tie, and glasses was a veteran pirate. He supported the resistance in a secret and reverently worshipped the sea god Calvatua. What is it? Our captain of a ghost ship. Ralph put down the newspapers, crossed his right foot over his left, and smiled leisurely. Music is kind of loud. He was an illegitimate child. His Who? Are we talking about Ulger? He was an illegitimate child. His father was an inventor of the Loman and Phasic blood, and his mother was a native. He had made his fortune by becoming a pirate, and then being a merchant that did business with both pirates and officials. He established a vast network of connections that provided him with the help at the Governor General's office and the city of council and the police station. Upon hearing Ralph's questions, Olger almost frowned because the man's attitude and tone was rather abnormal. This abnormality was a state... Oh, this another person? This abnormality was a state that wasn't in accordance with Alder's expectations. In his opinion, after the sea god Calvatua, he was certain that there would definitely be bad omens in the Rorschach archipelago. The pious believers would definitely sense that something was amiss, either feeling apprehensive or downcast, so how could he still be so relaxed and natural? Alger didn't directly mention Calvatua. Instead, he chuckled and asked, do you know where Corvaro has been recently? Corvaro was the pirate captain who possessed the bionic characteristics of the Sanguine Baron. It was said that he was once a sailor aboard the Black Emperor and that he was part of the periphery forces of the King of the Five Seas Nast. Okay, when I was talking with Wiz, I thought Nast was like the son of another person as part of Roselle's time. No, Nast was with Roselle 200 years ago. Nast was Nast was with Roselle. And he was part of the Solomon Empire. Or he was a son of the Solomon Empire. That's what I was confusing. Now I cleared that up as I'm going through my notes. Now I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. Who knows? But and you would be so crazy when Klein runs into the King of the Five Seas Nast. He's gonna ask him, how was Roselle? Or he's gonna be like, Roselle was waiting for you. Nance once met Roselle. Got it. That's who it was. Yeah, like, he was part of his, like, he was mentioned during his time. And you know what, dude? When the King of Five Seas, when Nast finally meets Klein, he's gonna be like, Roselle talked about you. Or, like, Roselle talked about someone like you and that you would appear one day. It's gonna be good. Ooh, it's gonna be good. Who knows, but he's surely not in Bam. Otherwise, he would have been caught in the raids in the past 2 days. Ralph shrugged his shoulders. I heard that his boat went south. Augur actually had an appointment with Kovaro on this matter, and he was only using it as a way to starve the conversation. Cooking? Pff, bro, it's gonna happen. It's not even cooking. It's just facts, bro. He's like, we've been waiting for you. It's gonna be so good. I lost my place. Of course, he was well aware that to avoid the tsunami in the waters of the archipelago, Kovaro had definitely gone far away and would take some time before returning to Bayam. However, Olga wasn't too anxious, and he already knew that Mr. Moon had been given an acceptance draft. If he withdrew the sum before its maturity, he would receive a discounted value of losing a large amount of interest. I'm sorry, are we foreshadowing the next? Oh wait, no, I'm dumb. I'm sorry. Emlyn White took the name of the moon. He deliberately nodded his head and said, "Got it. Thank you for telling me." Duh. At this point, Olga pretended to be aware of what happened as he asked, "I heard that many sea god figurines in many places shattered by themselves." He hadn't witnessed any instances of this himself, but he could make a reasonable deduction based on the church's archives. In many of the colonial islands in the countries of the southern continent, more than 1 or 2 false gods like Kavatua had been finished off by the 7 churches. What happened after the deaths had already long been recorded in the archives. Ralph calmly nodded. Yes, there was such a thing, but that was not bad news. His expression turned fervent. Because God had appeared over the land once again in a new image. God had appeared over the land once again with a new image. Olger's eyes remained fixed on him, and he felt like this was both a reasonable but also unexpected. Reasonable development. Judging from the Church of Storm's reaction, he was certain that Kavatua was already dead. Then which sea god was responding to the believers now? If only he knew. Connecting it with his previous judgment, he quickly came up with a bold idea. It is an embodiment of Mr. Fool. Oh, dude, he figured it out. It is an embodiment of Mr. Fool. He used sea god's Kavatua perishing to create a new identity. How does he figure this out, dude? He can release his powers through the seal to directly affect an identity in the real world. Is this the reason why for the world to come to Bam? Hiss. Mr. Fool really does things with pomp? What a glazer. Olger secretly swallowed his saliva and suppressed his excitement. He's like, oh, I'm so happy to be a part of this club. In the wind of the Azure Inn, Klein, who had yet to leave, saw the stack of cash Captain Elland handed him. Here is your reward for a total of £100. He did mention how much Gurman Sparrow and the Nits each received, but he gave a total amount. As for how exactly they would split the reward, that was something he left to them. The military is really generous. Klein silently moosed as he received a thick stack of cash, secretly taking out 2 5-pound notes and tossing them to the Nits. That's all he gets? All he gets is 10 pounds and Klein keeps 90? And tossing them to the Nits. He lowered his wrist and finally drew another 2 10-pound notes in an expressionless manner. Oh, okay. Kermit's source is still rather first, far more than just Ellen. The Nits put away the reward and a pleasant surprise. His wallet that had slimmed down quite significantly over the past couple of days had finally been replenished. Glancing at Gurman Sparrow in his new clothes, Ellen asked, after some deliberation with his boat-shaped hat in his hand, news from the Church of Storms had revealed that the person who posted the notice at the cathedral's doors, informing them that the problem between Leticia and the sea god Kavatua was blazing the Nits. Oh, his bounties are going to go up even more now, huh? What do you think about that? He stared straight into the Nits' eyes and waited for an answer, like, oh, what are you going to tell me? Huh, the Nits gave a hollow chuckle. I don't know him. Klein was silent for 2 seconds before saying, while fulfilling a dead adventurer's wish, I came across Leticia and her companions at the inn. Snakes invaded our place in the middle of the night, but they easily resolved it. After returning to Bayam, I went to purchase some items from the Resistance and discovered that they had taken out their holy sword. Oh, that's funny. The holy sword kind of reminds me of the bone sword that Crescent Sesamir used, right? Furthermore, there were 2 mid-sequence Beyonder guarding the small base. I felt a crazy will invade my body just by making contact with that holy sword for a moment, and I had nearly lost control on the spot. They were still after Leticia. What Klein said was the truth. It was an entire truth, but it was enough to infer the contents of the announcement. Even if the kingdom's military and the Church of Storms were to investigate further, they would only be able to unearth the fact that Gurman Sparrow could change his appearance. After listening carefully, Ellen sighed and smiled. If there is such a thing in the future, you don't have to post notices in the middle of the night, and you can come to find me directly. This would allow you to reap even greater rewards. And they still won't necessarily think he's faceless. because he has creeping hunger. They'll probably assume that's like part of creeping hunger. Just like when Quillingus would change his face. He stood up, put on his hat, and said to the Nits, I heard that the bounty for Blazing Sun is going to rise again. No way. So we have 3,000 and 4,200. It's probably going to be like 6,000 now. Or like 5,000. All right, next chapter. 553. All right. Instead of a call, let me just send a quick text message. Bear with me. Hold up. Let me send a quick text message. This dude. Okay. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. 1 second, guys. I'm almost. Hold up, guys. Bear with me. Sorry, I got an outstalling. The missus isn't sick, right? The missus is sick, so we just gotta check on her. Alright, I think we're good. Like One Piece new arc got the Nits bounty go up? Yeah, it's fucking sick, dude. Next thing you know, he's gonna be like fucking next thing you know, wait, let me say this on stream. Next thing you know, bro, because his bounty keeps going up, like as he hangs out with German Sparrow, like I swear to God, bro, it's gonna be like Bucky from One Piece, where like the Nits is gonna work his way up and being one of like he's gonna like work his way up, become an admiral, and like towards the end of the volume, he's gonna work his way up and become one of the 4 emperors. And it's like, bro, what? Like, why are people hyping me up this much? Like, I don't want this kind of spotlight. That's literally what's gonna happen. He's gonna become like Bucky, where he fails his way upwards, and he's gonna reach like a 4 emperor status solely because he's hanging out with German Sparrow. And rather than people figuring out it's German, people are gonna think it's Bucky the Clown. Wait, did I say Bucky? Sorry, my bad. I was watching I was watching Thunderbolts the other day, so I'm like, I was thinking of Bucky. My bad, Bucky the Clown. He's gonna work his way up like Bucky the Clown, dude. This is gonna be so fucking funny, dude. This is gonna be so fucking sick. Literally, he's gonna work his way up like Bucky the Clown. All right, wait. Didn't I do a timestamp for this chapter? I did. All right. Let's do 46 minutes, 24 seconds. Bucky sucks at Thunderbolt flopped. Did it flop? I'm not gonna lie. Look, man. Don't worry. Just so we don't get sidetracked. I am a Marvel connoisseur. I have watched every single Marvel movie in theaters since the first one, since Iron Man, right? And Marvel has not been the same since Endgame. When I watched Thunderbolts, I was like, wow, finally. Like, finally, we're actually getting another good Marvel movie. Like, not just like an okay Marvel movie, but like a good Marvel movie. It kind of sucks if it did flop. Damn, man. That breaks my heart. All right, next chapter, though. I saw they lost 100 mil. Bro, I don't know what's going on, man. Like, I don't know why people think, like, all right, just put $200 million into this movie and it's going to make, like, 5 trillion. It's like, no, man. Like, I think horror movies have it best. Small budget, and you get, like, a big profit. You have, like, a huge profit margin. Easily, man. Like, I'm telling you, if you guys haven't watched it, go watch Bring Her Back. That shit is twisted, fucked up, but damn, it is such a good movie. Gave me the same feeling I had when I watched Hereditary for the first time and, like, other horror movies. So fucking good. All right, next chapter. Although, I'm gonna restart the song. I fucking love Lumiere. All right, next chapter. Chapter 553. The Nits Hard Work. New bounty. What's it at? 5,000 or 6,000? What's it gonna be? Bounty. Oh, here we go. All right, is he an admiral now, or is it too early for him to be an admiral? Bounty. The muscles in the Nit's cheek twitched as he forced a smile, pretending that he wasn't blazing and that he didn't care. When Ellen left, he turned sharply to face Gerns. We're like, bro, what the fuck? I think we should move to another inn. No, we'd better leave Bayham as soon as possible. Oh, we're gonna have a pirate fight in the next chapter too. If I'm worth a bounty of more than 5,000 pounds, I won't be safe anywhere. The pirates and adventurers who are at the same level as me will definitely rush over like sharks smelling their blood. Pray that they can finish off while also while also proving themselves and giving them a high bounty are always very popular. They're worth no less than treasure. The Nit suppressed even more of his inward shouting. Klein didn't agree or disagree. He slowly smiled. Are you worried that your bounty will be too high? I think it's gonna turn into Buggy for a minute, where his bounty just keeps. I'm not saying he's gonna be as weak as Buggy, right? Buggy has his moments too, but like I'm just saying, like he's gonna like reap in German Sparrow's success, and his bounty is just gonna keep going up and up this volume, dude. The Nids nodded heavily and finally feeling as though the madman German Sparrow was finally saying something sensible. Besides hiding, there are other solutions, Klein said as he walked over to the coat rack. What are they? The Nits asked subconsciously. Klein took off his half-top hat and put it on the bed. Put it on his head. Raise your sequence. Let your strength match the bounty. He put on his coat, twisted his handle, and walked out of the suit. Raise myself to sequence 6, become a conspirer. The Nits paused for 2 seconds, then he frowned and grimaced. When he consumed the sequence 900 potion, sequence 8 provoker potion, he didn't find it much of a problem. In fact, he began to long for finding the legendary treasures, obtaining mid or high sequence formulas and their corresponding materials to advance to demigod, and then he became the new king of the seas. Oh, it's definitely going to happen. However, the intense pain and discomfort brought to him by the pyromaniac potion had left him in fear of apprehension. He didn't dare believe that he nearly lost control despite strictly following his captain's instructions of constantly provoking his opponents. She knows the acting method. Wait, which was the new sequence? Conspirer. Sequence 6 Conspirer? Okay, wasn't that revealed last chapter? Wait, right? Sequence 6 Conspirer? Wait, so she knows the acting method, his captain, right? He didn't dare believe that he nearly lost control despite strictly following his captain's instructions of constantly provoking his opponents. Okay, so that's why he did it. This forced the Nits to consider whether or not he was fine just getting rich so he can return to Intis as a rich man. Edwina knows the acting method. That's crazy, dude. I knew that for a long time. Really? Maybe, I guess since it hasn't been brought up in a while and I haven't been updating my notes past volume 2 because of store organizing, I completely forgot about it. But yes, we have remembered. Feeling like done, man. Feeling like done every day. He stood there troubled for several minutes. Finally, he thought of a question. Even if I want to advance by consuming a potion, it's not something I can do in a short period of time. I'll still have to find the formula and collect the ingredients. It wouldn't be an easy task, and the new bounty might be released tomorrow or even today. Oh, it's definitely gonna happen today. So I must change inns and leave Bam as soon as possible. After Alger left the Ralph's trading company, he casually went to a few places to inquire about the... Hold up, man. If Edwina knows the acting method, maybe Edwina joins instead of the Nits. I can see it being that now. Hold up. If she already knows the acting method, she must know a lot more info, and she'll be able to exchange a lot more info. And now that we've reached, like, chapter 500, I feel like we need to start bringing in more mid-sequence Beyonders for, like, intel. So Edwina would join instead of the Nits. And we're going to look at the tarot cards later, and we're going to, like, try and guess what she could be. Or what Trissy could be. Or what Leonard could be. But we'll see. This forced the Nits to consider whether or not he was fine just getting rich and he could return to Entis as a rich man. He stood there troubled for several minutes. Finally, he thought of a question. Even if I want to advance by consuming a potion, it's not something I can do in a short period of time. I'll still have to find the formula and collect the ingredients. It wouldn't be an easy task, and a new bounty might be released tomorrow or even today. So I must change ends and leave Bam as soon as possible. After Alger left the Ralph Trading Company, he casually went to a few places to inquire about the situation. When it was almost noon, he received a new report from the Church of Storms. It's confirmed that the person who posted the notice board at the door of the cathedral is blazing in Nits. Pay attention to his whereabouts. He's like, ah, shit. Blazing the Nits. Alger held a slip of his paper in his hand and ruminated over the name silently. The corners of his mouth curled up and he no longer had any doubts in his mind. Like, it's definitely the fool. With ease and certainty, he felt confident about going out of the sea to hunt for materials. This was because his quest would happen at the sea, and because Mr. Fool had his new identity, Sea God. Yeah, dude. Mr. Fool is now a Sea God. Ain't no way, dude. All right, now we have Sea God. Now we need a Land God, and then we're going to need, like, a Sky God. He has one domain. We need 2 more domains. We need to take over 2 more domains. Having missed his morning's blue planet, the Nits waited until 4 in the afternoon to attempt a soulful ritual while German Sparrow was out. He drew the God of Knowledge and Wisdom's sacred emblem with familiarity, an omniscient eye on an omniscient eye. Okay. What kind of book is this? With the appropriate altar set up inside the wall of spirituality, he lit a candle and picked up the lavender and mint extract before dripping it on the still burning flame. By the way, thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. A refreshing fragrance filled the air, and the Nitz burned several more herbal powders. Having done all this, he took a step back and said in ancient Hermes, I pray for the power of knowledge. I pray for the power of rationality. I pray for the God of wisdom's loving grace. I pray that you allow me to communicate with the spirit of Edwina Edwards, the teacher who's pursuing knowledge, the researcher of the spirit world creatures, Vice Admiral Iceberg of the sea gods who hails from Limburg. Since he has lightning, you can say he is somewhat of a sky god. Touché. All right. Now we just need to hit land. Whoosh. That was such a bad whoosh sound effect. Sorry, my bad. My sound effect game is kind of lacking. Along with the echo of the incantation, the interior of the altar suddenly became cold. Apart from the 3 candles, the remaining brass dagger, the salt plate, the bottle of the extract, and the fountain pen and papers all floated in midair. The Nitz waited nervously, not knowing what was going to happen next. After nearly 20 seconds, the flames of the 3 candles began to sway, coloring the candles in a pale green color. The Nitz's body suddenly stiffened. He felt an itchy chill invade his body in an irresistible manner. He saw that his feet moved uncontrollably and took a step forward. He saw his left hand rise and grab the black fountain pen and a piece of white paper. He saw himself bend over with a pen in his left hand, quickly writing. Oh, he's lefty. Is there something? The words were exquisite and artistic, very different from the Nitz's own style. It was only then that the Nitz realized he can control his head and his thought. Captain Seagot Calvatua is dead. He squeezed out his hoarse voice as though he was suffering from a heavy cold. Details his right hand wrote smoothly. This was the opportunity the Nitz had been waiting for. He immediately recounted everything that had happened, including Germansparrow's visit to Samine Island. In order to fulfill some adventurer's dying wish, the possibility that Germansparrow had suffered the sea god's curse, and how easily he resolved the problem after closing the door, including the madman's mistake of mistaking the ancient oven ruins as a sea god ruin. Towards the end, the Nitz quickly added his own take on the matter. I believe that Admiral Blood won't come to Bayam for quite a substantial period of time. Most famous pirates wouldn't. It would take at least a year for this matter to pass. Captain, your hunting plan with Germansparrow might have to be shelved for the time being. I wish to return to Golden Dream. Please take me back. His left hand froze for a few seconds before writing, continued to follow Germansparrow and be my contact point with him. She's like, shit. Captain, you can teach him the Sofa ritual. The Nitz yelled hoarsely, like, please take me back. His left hand wrote, this can only be done within 500 nocturnal miles, and in that case of the person holding the ritual, it would be quite risky for him, and you have our points of contact on various islands. Those are things that cannot be told to outsiders. Indeed, Germansparrow is just an outsider, but Captain, I really want to go back to the Golden Dream. He's like, please take me back, man. Bro got dumped. Shit, man. He's so heartbroken right now. Like, my love, take me back. The Nitz racked his brain and said, maybe we can invite him to be the guest of the ship. Know this. Suddenly, an idea came to the Nitz. Captain, he has a messenger. He has a messenger. A messenger that travels through the spirit world to deliver his letter for him. This should be an unrestricted means of communication, and it should be more private and secure. I don't need to be the contact person anymore. The Nitz thought an abnormal delight. His left hand hung in midair for a few seconds before he wrote, if that's the case, there's no problem. As the New Year holiday is coming to an end, it's indeed time for you to return to the ship. You do have some talent in languages, but you still have quite a few problems in other areas. You need to attend more classes and work harder. The Nitz opened his mouth, but nothing came out of it. He suddenly felt that returning to the Golden Dream wasn't anything to look forward to. In the evening, Klein returned to the... I love the Nitz. I love this character, dude. He's growing on me every single day we read him. I'm starting to like him more and more. In the evening, Klein returned to the Wind Desert Inn. He didn't find a suitable target for acting despite an entire day's work. Did Calvatua not work? Due to the sweep from before, wait, this is a new day. Due to the sweep from before, many pirates and adventurers that were wanted were arrested. The remaining ones continued hiding cautiously, not daring to go out at all. Whether it was the bars, casinos, or brothels, businesses was poor and there weren't many customers. So this is the situation. The Nitz came over, he cleared the throat and gave a hollow chuckle. It would be my first time using the Sofa ritual and I don't have much confidence. I did a test ahead of time, and it succeeded. I managed to communicate with Captain, and she believes there's a chance to hunt Admiral Blood anytime soon. She plans on summoning me back to the Golden Dream. As for using communication, don't you have a messenger? You can use a messenger to send Captain a letter. My messenger was given by a big shot, and it's not mine. However, my messenger can only send messages back and forth between the owner and the owner of the token, without involving anyone else. Yes, it can also be between the host of a ritual and the owner. That reminds me, I have to find a way to get a messenger of my own. Ooh. Didn't you say at the time you would close up? I lied. I hate him. I'm closing my heart. We're still good for another hour or two. I think we're good. Yeah, we still got like an hour and a half. I think we're good. I think we can shoot for like 3 hours today. Knock on wood. I think we might be good. I have to ask. Yeah, you're thank you for reminding me, Romero. Our hearts is sealed this volume. I don't even like him. Get him out of here. It's not like I got emotional when I thought he died. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It was all engagement, babe. I don't know what you guys are talking about. As for the solution to this day, obviously it is to write to Mr. Zig, who had been an expert on this matter. Klein calmly pulled over a chair and sat down. He leaned forward and said in a low voice, "Tell your captain that I have a way to find Admiral Blood." The Nitz was stunned, having not expected such an answer. Then he saw the corners of German Sparrow's mouth slowly widen as he repeated, "Tell your captain." The Nitz shivered. He didn't dare to make any inquiries as he forced a smile. "Well, we'll have to wait until the next blue planet, which is between 11 p.m. and midnight tonight." Very good. Klein smiled as he praised, but Nitz wasn't happy at all. Klein stood up slowly, recollecting a special dish he had eaten for dinner, and he headed for the bedroom. The food was called the Tiva and translated into Loan. It was the meat within fruit. The meat within fruit. The cook used a giant local fruit. Tiana hollowed out its flesh, leaving only a solid shell, then stuffed it with his mashed mutton and fish, following the sea god salt and several types of spices, and repeatedly roasted it over the fire. The meat was fresh, fragrances, and perfectly blended with the sweet and slightly sour flavor of the fruit. Closing the door behind him, Klein first wrote a letter thanking Mr. Zick for his earlier guidance, and he asked again how he could have a messenger of his own. After folding the letter, he took out his copper whistle and summoned a messenger. The messenger didn't say, disintegrating the moment it took the letter. Klein rested for a moment, ready to enter the space above the gray fog, to see if the prayers of the believers could bring him any useful information, such as he could actually act as. Ooh, all right, let's find out. Next chapter, acting as a god. Oh, he's definitely digesting that potion, dude. He's definitely gonna digest it. He's definitely gonna digest it pretty quickly. All right, time's up. He's definitely gonna finish it, man. There's like no shot he doesn't digest it fast. All right, 59 minutes and 16 seconds. Acting as a fucking god. Ain't no fucking way. Sweet Louisiana pie. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 5th chapter. Hell yeah. Almost said something else again. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, we actually did almost say something else. But luckily we didn't. Alright, you guys ready? Oh man, my mouth is salivating, man. Drinking that Sprite. Somebody told me like the other day, like, does your mouth not get dry when you read so long out loud? I'm the opposite. My mouth just keeps salivating. I know it's common for your mouth to get dry the more you speak and the more you talk, but dude, that's not how it has been for me, man. It's like it just fucking builds up and builds up. I think that's why like I'm always kind of like slurring. I'm always slurring when I'm talking because so much keeps getting built up. I need to eat something that gives me dry mouth. I think I just need to eat salted crackers that gives me a dry mouth and not drink water. And I think that's the way to go. We'll try that next chapter. I'm gonna eat like a sea salt cracker. Sea salt cracker. I was thinking of Kingdom Hearts. I'm gonna eat a salted cracker and see if it like dries my mouth out. Chapter 554. All right, next chapter. Chapter 554 is called Acting as God. Yeah, that's pretty hype, dude. Above the gray fog inside the palace, it looked like a giant's resistance. Seated in the fool's chair, Klein raised his right hand, allowing the sea god's scepter to fly out of the junk pile and land in his palm. All right, this game pretty good. One sec. I want to see if I can raise my my mic just a smidge. I want to see if I can raise it higher. What a title. I want to see if I can raise my thing a little bit more and see if we can read a little bit clearer. So we do this. We're gonna use the music boxes I bought in Japan, and then we're gonna put a little book right here, and then we're gonna use a candle and then put my mic on top. And now I should sound slightly a little bit clearer. Let's do this so we don't drop it. I think this is good. I think we're good now. All right. Now I think we sound a little bit better. Now we don't sound so far away. Like I sound far away like when I'm talking like this. But now, ooh, yeah. Now I'm sounding a little bit better. Wow, what a difference. Holy shit. I noticed that right away. So I'm gonna lower my mic up here just a smidge. I think we're good. Hi. Yeah, sounds good. Or what? You see, I need to do what Wiz does. Wiz has a mic stand. So I don't have anywhere to put this mic stand or like the boom mic. I think I just need to like glue it to my cabinet on the side, and then I can kind of just like drag it down here. And I think that's the only way to go. And I can kind of like control it here, or if I put it on this side, comes out this way. I think I have to do it that way. I put it in there. No, but then I'm gonna break all my shit right there. Sounds fine. Yeah, I think it's good. It's just I'm scared because I have my mic balanced on 2 empty boxes with a book and a candle. And then I have my mic on top. Well, you know, it gets the job done. It gets the job done. So who am I to complain? I think it's good right now. All right. That's me just trying to be all fancy, trying to get like a little mic stand so you can see it on stream. I don't think that matters, though. I think we're good. As long as the audio sounds good enough. And if we start spiking a lot, then I think I'm just being too loud. Properties. I'm not going to fuck around with this. No. Yeah, I'm good. Ethos Slab setup be like. Ethos Slab. Who is Ethos Slab? Is it another YouTuber? I'll just search this up later. That looks cool. We'll look at his setup. Oh, yeah. Oh! Shit, I'm gonna drop my shit. Alright, let's keep reading. Thank you guys. By the way, there's like 20 plus of you guys here. Thank you guys for being members. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in. It's fun. Thank you. I feel humbled every day. Don't know Ethos Lab? No, it's my first time hearing it too. Thank you guys, man. I feel humbled. I feel humbled every day. We got to read this with you guys together. Chapter 554, Acting as a God. Let me read this part again after we fixed our mic a little bit. Above the gray fog inside the palace, it looked like a giant's residence. Seated in the fool's chair, Klein raised his right hand, allowing the sea god scepter to fly out of the junk pile and land in his palm. He originally planned on placing... Yes, never mind. I thought I didn't update my thing right here, but we did. Or this way. That's so weird. It's inverted. He originally planned on placing this sealed artifact that was on the level of a grade 1 sealed artifact besides his chair. This was to show respect to a demigod item, but after careful consideration, he believed that the sea god scepter was still unable to match up with a mysterious and powerful fool who was able to fight against the true creator and primordial demoness. Only card of blasphemy was barely qualified to match the status. Therefore, he threw the sea god... Little conceited, my guy. Wait, actually, hold up. If he's going to keep up the facade of the fool, yes. Yes, he has to do that. Into the junk pile. Looking at the blue dots surrounding the white bone staff, Klein wielded them to split into preliminary categories. Just as he had expected, those blue dots of light. So now he has red, crimson lights. Or now he has red dots. And now he has blue dots. How will you act as a faceless? Klein be like, I'm act as a god. Exactly, dude. I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh, just keep doing Beyonders. No, just act as a god. Easy, GG. All right, let me find my place. Just as he had expected, those blue dots of lights automatically split according to his will. Those that merely praised sea god and were prayers were no clear reason sank to the bottom of them, reading wrong, and then rapidly disappeared. Those regarding confessions and pleas floated upwards and came close to Klein's palm. Following his spiritual intuition, he tapped onto the floor ladder. All of a sudden, he saw tall, surging waves and heard violent whistling of a gust of wind. A fishing boat was bobbing up and down in the undiluted deep blue sea as though it was ready to capsize at any moment. Ooh. Above the fishing boat, the natives were either hugging the mast or pulling on ropes, making their last-ditch efforts to survive. Many of them were panicking, and they chanted the honorific name of sea god. Noticing, oh, and then he's gonna like get rid of the storm, right? Is that what he's gonna do? Noticing that this was an ongoing prayer, Klein lifted the milky white scepter. At the tip of the scepter, the blue-colored gems emitted a halo of light one after another before they connected into one and shone onto the scene. The fishermen were gradually losing all hope when all of a sudden they felt the ship which had been thrown into the air stabilize. They looked around in amazement and saw that the mountain-like waves had calmed down at some point, and the raging winds were slowly calming down, turning as mild as Zarhar beer. The overbearing dark clouds in the sky dissipated, and the storm of cloud was forcibly pushed back by the mysterious force before it could fully assume its full form. Nice, dude. The fishermen quickly recovered from their dazed states and understood what had happened. It was Sea God. Sea God had protected everyone. Sea God had shown his majesty. Plop, plop, plop. All of a sudden, all of them prostrated themselves on the deck, spread their hands, and placed them in their mouths, reciting the honorific name of the Sea God in an an irregular fashion. Thank you, praise the fool, adorer of the sea god and spirit world, guardian of the Roshid archipelago, the ruler of the undersea creatures, master of the tsunamis and storms, the great Kavatul. Above the great, she's like, GG, dude. Above the great fog, Klein felt a little depressed. I was the one who saved you, so why are you thinking Kalvatua? The sea serpent will only deliberately create hurricanes, set off waves, and intimidate you so that you will piously believe in it. Klein fell silent for 2 seconds and then suddenly burst out laughing. Kalvatua is already dead, and the current Kalvatua is another one of my identities. Why should I be in a bad mood when people are thinking my other identity? This is something a faceless shit, dude. This is something a faceless has to take note of when acting for real. To fully immerse oneself into the role, treating all emotions one receives as her own, but also never forgetting who they really are. This is difficult to accomplish. Failure to pay attention to it can result in an abnormal state of the mind, and once a beyonder state of mind becomes abnormal, they won't be far from losing control. After thinking for a while, Klein let out a sigh and chuckled to himself. Acting the role of sea god had been quite rewarding after all. Although such acting doesn't provide feedback due to the gray fog screening and isolation, nor does it facilitate the digestion of the faceless potion, and can provide me with experience and lessons, helping me figure out a safer and more effective way of acting. Wrapping up my thoughts, Klein spread his spirituality to another point of light. This time the plea came from under a bridge. A woman with tattered clothes and a festering body was leaning against a corner, mumbling the honorific name of the sea god as she made her final confession. Through her descriptions, Klein seemed to have witnessed her short life. She was a native woman whose parents believed in the sea god. As a result, she inherited the faith of the sea god. In the first decade or so, her father worked as a miner, repaired roads and laying the rails, while her mother focused on temporary jobs, sewing, doing laundry, helping out the dogs, and occasionally working as a street girl. Only then did the family barely survive. Let me find my place. Not this scene. Oh no, guys, come on. Are we getting a death already? Close your heart. Close your heart. An abrupt change occurred 2 years ago. Her father had died during a road repair accident. A roasted railroad company had offered only a pittance of compensation. This pushed the family onto a path of no return. Subsequently, the girl was sold to the Red Theater by her mother and became a legal. Oh no, she became like a legal worker. Although Emperor Roselle had long invented the condom, I forgot he invented that. He invented the condom. Many pirates and adventurers were unwilling to use one and the desire for momentary pleasure. And since the Red Theater didn't enforce the use of condoms, the girl's resistance was ineffective. All she could do was submit, eventually getting infected with some disease. Oh. The manager of the Red Theater had tried to provide her some simple treatment, but seeing that she wasn't getting any better, she was chased out because the cost of the follow-up treatment was obviously much higher than the cost of buying another girl. Fuck. Not only was the ill girl unable to find a new job, but she didn't even have the money to rent a house. Her mother and younger siblings had long since disappeared. No, like they left her? Oh, her mother and younger siblings had already long since disappeared, perhaps already dead or abducted to become slaves. The girl became a tramp and lived under the bridge. She managed to survive for some time thanks to the food and free medicine provided by the charity organizations. But it was ultimately a short period of time. Her illness got worse and worse, and her body became weaker and weaker. Very quickly, she reached the end of her life. At that moment, she recalled the days when she was the most well-fed and dressed. She recalled the work. Fuck, what? Oh my god, I'm getting a little emotional. Thank you, dude. They literally sold her and they left her, man. At that moment, she recalled the days when she had the most well-fed and dressed. She recalled the words that the pirates and the adventurers would occasionally say. She whispered and prayed to the sea god, I want to live like a... Fuck, man, that's sad. Ah, shit. I want to live like a human being. Klein once again raised his staff, but he found that the sealed artifact didn't possess the ability to cure diseases. He thought of purchasing some medicine from Emlyn White via the world, but he found that the prayer scene had happened at noon. Oh, it's too late. The girl had already passed away under the bridge in mud and dirt, her body filled with agony and intense hunger. Klein, fuck, I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry. Shit, man, that's sad. We didn't even know her. We like barely met her. Klein was silent for a moment, then he raised the angel of the prayer screen to reveal the location of the bridge. After memorizing the characteristics of the nearby street and the surrounding area, Klein leaned back in his chair, sighed and said with an insincere smile, What a humble wish. There isn't much of an opportunity to act. I'll try my best to bury you like a human being. Oh, I'm about to cry. He retracted his attention and scanned the other points of light, searching for someone he could act as, but he found nothing. Damn, I'm getting emotional, dude. I want to live like a human being. He's like, I'll bury you like one, man. Fuck, dude. Damn, he retracted his attention and scanned the other points of light, searching for someone he could act as that, but he found nothing. During this process, Klein noticed that the Kalat, Edmonton, and the other members of the resistance were carrying out a ritual. They had placed a batch of items on the altar, and they prayed for the sea god to imbue them with prayer. So that's how they received the Beyonder items they used for trade. To be at the level of a demigod is truly different. Moreover, they're used to not receiving any immediate replies. It's as if they planned to leave the items of the altar the entire night. Apparently, the sea serpent Kavatua didn't respond immediately either. It depends on its mood or whether it was asleep or not. Otherwise, it could only respond instinctively, unable to produce any Beyonder items in batch. Klein picked up the sea god scepter, making the blue gems shine again. Boundless spirituality magically merged together, gushing into the piercing with translucent vibes and randomly fused with various items. Some of them are electric shock charms, some electric shock charms? Some of them are electric shark charms. Shark charms. Shock, not shark. Shock charms. Some that allow people to swim in the sea like fish. Some that allow a gale to blow. With 3 months, their spirituality would gradually decline to nothingness. Klein half closed his eyes, feeling the changes in the items. Although he had only responded twice, he had already rather exhausted despite mainly relying on the powers of the Sea God Scepter. However, the first response had to do with him forcibly dispersing a storm and calming the waves, while the second response was to provide an enchantment to dozens of items. They were all the level of a demigod, so it was rather draining on his spirituality. Even if I frequently use Sea God Scepter, I wouldn't be able to last very long. On the other hand, the negative side effects wouldn't be a burden on me. I can attempt to use it at times. Yes, the situation with the resistance reminded me. I can also pray to myself and make a bunch of charms, mainly allow me to do things underwater. This way, even if I find myself in a sea battle, I wouldn't be restrained. What the fuck? Oh, right, I still don't know how to make lightning charms. I need to seek out the corresponding mystical information, and with it, I can deal with enemies and have the air superiority. There you go, air superiority. Klein suddenly muttered a few sentences and threw the Sea God Scepter back into the junk pile while swiftly returning to the real world. East Chester Country. By the side door of a huge manor in the vast and beautiful countryside are we with Audrey? Demigod artifacts can be used to make charms and items. So they provided the items and then Klein turned them into the charm. And then he turned them into charms, right? Okay. So they provided they prayed and used a ritual to provide the items, and then Klein, as you know, the sea god, turned them into. World is wide in 3 chapters. Bet. Sign me up. East Chester Country. By the side door of the huge manor in the vast and beautiful countryside, Audrey Hall was dressed in a waist-fitting black riding suit with a simple blouse lining her insides. She skillfully sat on the back of a brownish-red mare without showing the slightest sign of wobbling. Her black leather boots were in stirrups, while her white trousers silently tucked into them. She smiled at Susie, who had a leather bag on her back. I'll wait for you at the edge of the woods. With that, she bent down with the whip in her hand and let the brownish-red mare gallop across the open world. Compared to the gorgeous yet gloomy family castle, Audrey preferred the beautiful manor and the scenery of the countryside. One handsome horse after another came running out. The riders were servants and maidservants, and the only mission was to protect Miss Audrey. Ceci was also running happily, a feeling she couldn't express in Backland. Moreover, she and Audrey would have a little adventure today, and that was exploring an ancient tower in the forest. Oh, we're playing World is Wide over there, huh? Ancient tower in the forest that had collapsed a long time ago. The valuable items there had long been taken away, but there had never been an accident. There had never been any accidents that happened there. It was a perfect place for an inexperienced person to practice her various abilities. The only problem was that it would be dark in 2 hours, and there might not be enough time. Ooh, that does not sound good. That does not sound good. Wait, I didn't catch that. That was Susie running. I'm so dumb. Why didn't I was like, who's the other girl? It said Susie, yeah? Oh, Susie was also running happily. A feeling she couldn't experience in Backland. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, that's so cute. Man, I remember when my first, like when my puppy Ellie, when she started running for the first time out on the grass, like after I made sure she was like, she got all her shots and like everything, and she was like perfectly safe. She was so happy. Oh, I can picture that. She was like, her tongue was out. She was so happy. I have a little video of it. It was so cute. Oh, I'm so proud of her. All right, next fucking chapter, man. Damn. And why the fuck are we playing World is Wide in 3 chapters? That is not good news, man. Oh shit. All right, next chapter. Let me take off my long sleeve because I'm starting to get a little sweaty here. Hold up. 1 hour, 12 minutes. Fuck, man. That chapter generally got me a little sad, man. What the fuck? That I got a little emotional, man. Fuck, dude. That got me a little fucked up. Damn, man. Especially if you guys know, like, don't worry, not to get personal, but like I talked about a while ago, like someone I know was pretty sick and like I didn't know what was gonna happen. Fuck, man. This series would have been a lot more depressing if something bad happened. Fucking man, knock on wood, everything is okay. So everything's okay for now. All right, let's keep reading. Oh wow, it is so much cooler now. Holy shit. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna run out. I'm gonna bring a cracker, and hopefully that helps me keep a dry mouth. I'll be right back. Have fun. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Let me just go bring one cracker, one pack of crackers. A what? A what? A salted cracker. I said a salt. I was grabbing a salted cracker. Hold on, don't worry, I'll mute the mic. Alright. So this should help me keep a dry mouth. No, I was gonna like. That's not what I'm trying to say. No, I wasn't meaning it like that. I don't know what we're on, but it's cool. It's chill. Okay, I lied. I'm gonna drink a little bit of water. Oh, you put what? You know what? I use like a. I put like a spinach spread. Like my cream, the cream I put on it has like spinach and something else. It's so fucking good. It's like garlic spinach. So fucking good, man. Ellie, just take a nap. Just take a nap. Hold up. Hey, sit. Take a nap. Why don't you just want to hang out with me? Oh, you just asked what it is. No, you're okay, username. I think people just misheard. I think that's why they were saying a what. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Hi. Why don't you sleep with anymore? Why don't you just hang out and sleep with me here? Let me give her another 30 seconds. Let me see what she does. I'm gonna put her down. I'm gonna see if she wants to hang out with me. If you're sleepy, just take a nap right here. It's not that hard. Just take a nap right here. Look, you're like closing your eyes on stream. You fucking lazy butt. It is an insult. Yeah, it's an insult towards white people. But you know, that's not what I meant. Hold up. Yeah, yeah. Oh, but for the sake of stream, we'll just we'll drop the conversation. Yeah, we'll drop the conversation. But yeah, like you guys can look into that. But yeah, it is. Yeah, but it is one. All right, Ellie, what are you gonna do? Just sit here. Go on your bed. Look, your bed. Hold up. Let me see if she wants to lay down. Right here. Go to your bed. Stretching. Look, just lay down. Right here. Take a nap. Okay? Just lay down. Right here. No, I'm not gonna get you excited, because then you're gonna want to play. Just take a nap. Yeah, take a nap. She doesn't want to take a nap. Let me just let her out. All right. She's gonna take a nap right there. All right, never mind. She wanted to take a nap. Look. Oh, you guys can't see her, but she's like right out of camera frame. She's like right there laying down. All right, so she's gonna take it. I had no idea. Yeah, it's a thing. But we'll drop the convo, and let's keep reading. You guys ready? You guys excited? All right, 555. Update timestamp. We're good. We're locked, and we are loaded. Chapter 555. Oh, I can see Ellie waiting at the door. If she barks, we're gonna stand up mid-chapter. Chapter 555 is called The Message Late at Night. East Chester country was still cold in January, with snow often piling up. The branches and leaves of the trees were withered with beasts and hiding themselves, making it appear lifeless. Audrey led Sissy around the ancient tower several times while surrounded by her attendants and maidservants, but they found nothing. There were only piles of gray bricks and rotting wood, and in the gaps there was weeds and the corpses of tiny critters. Audrey had thought she could find some murals of the wreckage of the walls, allowing her to decipher the origins of the ancient tower and use the appearance of wild beasts to secretly practice her beyond her skills, such as awe, frenzy, I forgot these abilities, plusate, but she was only left very disappointed. This isn't a tiny adventure, it's just a stroll on horseback. She pursed her lips, held her whip, and walked to the horse. Unwilling to resign herself to this, she asked the attendants of the maidservants around her, when she had traveled half the distance, are there any legends of monsters nearby? We're gonna give her 2 more barks. Three barks and she's out. I'm sorry, Ellie. Oh, she wants to play. Unwilling to resign herself to this, she asked the attendants and maidservants around her, when she traveled half the distance, Ellie, are there any legends of the monster nearby? Wow, this is really immersive with Sissy in the background, huh? Alright, this is really immersive. It's like Sissy is here with us, right? Alright. Alright, I love you. Okay, bye. Hey, bye. I love you. Sleepy butt. Sleepy butt. No. No thoughts. No, you wanna go? Go out. Ugh. I say placate, or it's pronounced as placate. Got it. Placate. Okay, all right. We'll double check it then. Let me lower volume down for a little bit for you guys more. It's not too loud. She was only that very disappointed. This is where we were. This isn't a tiny venture, just a stroll on horseback. She pursed her lips, held the whip, and walked her horse. Unwilling to resign herself, she asked the attendants of the maidservants around her, when she had traveled half the distance, are there any legends of monsters nearby? Half of the attendants had followed her from Backland to the family castle before coming to this manor. The other half were locals who were usually busy in the manor. There was no doubt that Audrey was asking the latter. The reason why she had come to this manor was because historically there was a folk tradition of worshipping dragons in the surrounding area. What a coincidence. A young attendant secretly shot a glance at this noble and beautiful mistress. He mustered his courage, took 2 steps forward, and bowed while saying, "Deep in the forest there." What a coincidence. are many fearsome wild beasts. I'm sorry, are we finally gonna get Audrey go on a little adventure and fight some monsters? Every year, hunters die there. Oh, not her. Oh, are we finally gonna see the Audrey Sissy team up that we've been waiting for so long? Every year, hunters die there, but no one has ever encountered a monster before. It's just like the situation described in the old folk song that goes around this place. He recounted the folk song and general meaning was, monsters are in your dreams, dragons are in your dreams. Dragon of imagination, I see. The great imagined palace floating in the air is likewise in your dreams. I'm sorry, is this his domain? There is where you have everything lasting until you wake up. I'm sorry, wasn't he in the city of silver? Curious children, brave adventurers, seek out the dragon in your dreams. The attendant deliberately left out the last... Hold up. Dragons of imagination is a race of dragons. I remember that. And a lot of them did leave and go into hiding where no people would be able to find them. And like the whole City of Silver legend, or like the Forsaken Lands legend. Because he might be misunderstood as being the sarcastic to Miss Audrey. A dragon in a dream. The great palace that is imagined as floating in the air is likewise in a dream. Audrey carefully pondered for a few seconds before she suddenly felt that this ancient folk song wasn't completely meaningless. Oh, shit. According to... It's a race. Yeah. No, it's not a race. It's the... Oh, Dragon of Imagination is the ancient god. The Mind Dragons is a race. Got it, got it, got it. Mind Dragons are the race. Got it, got it. Okay, I wonder if they have something to do with like the mind world, right? Because like you can like subconsciously create coincidences once you've mastered like the mind world and whatnot. All right, I wonder if there's a connection there after like just learning about the mind place or like the mind world in volume 2. Okay, mind dragons like mind goblins, mind goblin. Good joke, brother. According to information about dragons she had bought from Little Sun, the Dragon of Imagination, Enkwalt, had actually imagined a floating city with massive temple pillars surrounding a towering palace complex. The name of the city was Livziad, meaning the City of Miracles. Ooh, miracles are coming back. Okay. Yeah, I had a good chuckle. In dreams, the specter pathway comes under the mind of dragons, involving the conscious subconsciousness and the sea of the collective subconscious and the mind world, right? Under the mind dragons involving the conscious subconscious and the sea of collective subconscious and the sky of spirituality. No matter how you look at it, it certainly involves a dream domain. Perhaps this ancient folk song really is pointing to something. Could Livziad really... I'm saying this wrong. I already know it. You guys almost got me. Maybe next time. Tune in next time and find out. Could Livziad really exist in the sea of collective subconscious and dreams? But a dream is purely in the mind, many thoughts. You guys had to like fabricate like a really good comment, you know? And then it's like maybe like if you send like a $100 donation and you list out like this beautiful paragraph on like why you love Lord of Mysteries, if you like squeeze in that joke, I might fall for it. Maybe I won't fall for it, you know, but we'll find out. No, I'm kidding. Flashing through Audrey's mind, even when she returned to the manor, she was still unable to come up with a clear train of thought. Entering the room, she glanced at Sissy, suddenly having the urge to show off. Sissy doesn't know anything about dragons, so she definitely wouldn't be able to detect the peculiarities of this folk song. No, don't be arrogant. That's too superficial and too easy for Sissy to discover that I'm having something. Audrey walked a few steps back and forth with her back straight, and she asked in a seemingly casual manner, Sissy, what do you think that folk song is really about? I have a nagging feeling that it's not as simple as it seems. Sissy opened her mouth momentarily and lost for words because she didn't know anything about poetry. I just read what she said. She gave it some serious thought and said, Audrey, I'm only a dog. That's so fucking fun. Dude, I love their interactions. Holy, like, Audrey, come on. I'm only a dog. And a forest in Blue Mountain Island, because of his agitation, excitement. Yeah, it's like dogs don't speak in poetry. Because of his imagination excitement, Kalat didn't sleep at all. Sitting on the wheelchair, he inspected his surroundings as if he had found a reason to live apart from revenge. After making a full circle, he returned to the altar and prayed once again. He remembered the contents of the Ten Commandments very clearly. He knew that he couldn't use Sea God's name in vain, so he planned to use relatively vague God as a replacement during his prayers. When he approached the altar and gaze suddenly turned into a stare because this item's place on it all had unusual aura. For example, a dagger didn't reflect any crimson moonlight, but released silver lightning. A leaf had become increasingly greener, making him feel like it was easier to breathe from a mere glance. He's seeing colors again. Cool. God has bestowed his grace. This thought suddenly flashed in Kalat's mind. Up to this point, he no longer had any doubts regarding the transformation of sea god. The sacrilegious thoughts hidden deep within him were completely dispelled. The revelation from God had previously said that he will walk the land again was an implication that he is reconstructing his image. This layer of meaning goes very deep, and we actually failed to interpret it before. Kalat slowly took in a deep breath and propped himself up with his hand before solemnly prostrating himself before the great sea god. Soon he returned to his wheelchair and headed for the resistance of the high priest Edmonton and the others. He couldn't wait to tell his companions about what had just happened, to share with them the grace of God. At 11:15 in the evening, Kalat sat in his chair and watched with a blank expression as the Nits held a soulful ritual, memorizing all the details when he did. It still requires help from the spirit world. He made a preliminary judgment. Bro is rebranding. He rebranded his whole image. If it's a spirit world creature, one can locate them as long as there's no mistake in the description. Just using a language with certain amounts of power can allow direct summoning or allow them to make their spirit descend. It has nothing to do with distance or range. To a certain extent, deities have this trait as well, but sometimes it's possible to get a response for them, even if the prayer is an ordinary language. Of course, this is only if they become believers and have caught the notice of the deity. At the level of demigods, they seem to have blended with the spirit world to a certain extent. That's why one can point towards them with an accurate description to receive the possibility of a reason. Though there will still be a distance limitation, once it's beyond a range, they wouldn't be able to receive the signal. Signal. Sea God Calvatul is an example. Vice Admiral Iceberg is considered a powerful mid-sequence beyonder. To achieve something like this, relying on herself isn't sufficient. She needs to use the aid of a corresponding deity and use a precise and unambiguous description. Furthermore, there are restrictions on distance and range. The moment Klein finished the organization, his thoughts, the various items of the altar began to float up, with the exception of the 3 candles. The Nids shuddered uncontrollably, his expression turning cold. Very soon, he let out a female voice of Vice Admiral Iceberg. Good evening. You're heading out username? Thank you for tuning in. Hey, thank you for spamming that beautiful emote. Quick plug, if you want to use that emote. Our membership is $1. Is as little as $1. Good evening. Her tone seems to contain a certain... Wait, hold up. We're getting Iceberg again, right? Her tone seems to contain the anger of being woken up. Klein felt that the Nit's entire person had turned feminine. Oh, she's possessing him, right? Good evening. Ooh, maybe this is the new Terry Club member. Her tone seems to contain the anger of being woken up. Klein felt that the Nit's entire persona had turned feminine. He hesitated for a moment and said, I have a way to find Admiral Blood. Ooh, shit. What? Edwina Edwards, whose spirit had possessed the Nits, already had her tone return to normal, one that usually lacked emotion. Klein said simply, they use the latest wireless telegraphy technology. I received the frequencies and passcodes from the White Shark. I wonder how he got that. Wireless telegraphy, telegraphy. You know such things. Edwina appeared surprised to learn that German Sparrow, who was an expert in mysticism, would also have some general knowledge of radio communication technology. Klein politely smiled a little. Ooh, am I sensing some chemistry here or nah? Edwina was silent for 2 seconds, then she asked through the Nits, have they discovered that? Are you referring to whether Admiral of Blood and company have discovered the leak of their frequencies and passcodes? In theory, they should have, since their intelligence officer, Old Quinn, had died at the hands of Mr. Hangman. He did, dude. However, wireless telegraphy hasn't reached the level of wide-scale adoption yet. So it's easy for those who use it to ignore security risks. Klein didn't respond with absolute certainty. Perhaps, but we can try. As long as I can listen in on the frequency, there's a high chance of finding Admiral of Blood at Sea God. At Sea God, want the Iceberg German ship? Hold up, look. German can have the Iceberg ship, but Klein gets the Sharon ship. What is the background noise? It's from Nier. It's I got you. It's called Grandma. Just type Nier Grandma. Yeah. It's called Grandma. Grandma Nier. It's a really good song. If you haven't played Nier, because it sounds like you haven't played Nier. If you played Nier, you would know this song. Zen. I highly recommend you play Nier Replica and then you play Nier Automata. It's been like fucking 6 years, and there's no new Nier game or no new Drakengard game, bro. Like, just like my guy just needs to like remake. I accept both ships. As faceless, I accept both. Dude, like, this guy needs to, like, just remake Drakengard 1 or just make a new Nier game. Like, it's like, I am frothing for more Nier. I accept both ships. Yeah, we accept both ships. Yeah, point is, D. We accept both ships. German X Edwina and Klein X Sharon. Are you referring... Wait, Edwina was silent for 2 seconds, then she asked through the nits, have they discovered that? Are you referring to whether Admiral Blood and company have discovered the leak of their frequency in passcodes? In theory, they should have, since their intelligence officer, Oldwin, had died at the hands of Mr. Hangman. However, wireless telegraphy hasn't reached the level of wide-scale adoption yet, so it's easy for those who use it to ignore security risks. I'm rereading this part, by the way. Klein didn't respond with absolute certainty, perhaps, but we can try. As long as I can listen in on the frequency, there's a very high chance of finding Admiral Blood as Sea God. Oh, now I get it. As a Sea God. As Sea God, even at the level of a demigod, making it difficult for me to know about the matters of the neighboring seas like the back of my hand. I can still control sea creatures and ask them to seek out people? To seek people out? Klein suddenly had... What? Oh, you gotta beat it, Romero. Trust. It gets really good. Edwina said thoughtfully, I'll have the nits help with the surveillance. Without spoilers, like the true end credits, wow. Take that however you will, but wow, it's like, it's beautiful. I got so emotional during the end credits. That shit hit me like a truck. Hit me like Truck-kun, dude. I thought I was about to get isekai. You know what? I thought I was probably going to get transmigrated at one point right there. You know a lot about wireless telegraphy as well. Klein grinned and said, okay. When the seafarer ritual was over, the nits watched German Sparrow take out a sizable piece of machinery and its corresponding accessories with mixed emotions. What is it? He asked in astonishment. Klein flatted radio transceiver. The nits turned to gape as he forced his question out. Where did you get it? Klein glanced at him. Outside. Outside? As he spoke, he tossed the manual and information on the frequencies and passcodes to the nits and went back to his bedroom to sleep. So this is what he does on his frequent trips out. The nits felt as though he had understood something. After much reading and experimenting, he finally mastered the usage of the radio transceiver and settled back into his reclining chair. He was soon snoring away. Without knowing how long he slept, he was suddenly awoken, astonishing to hear rhythmic clicks. What? The nits rolled to his feet and looked towards the source of the sound. He saw the radio transceiver in the dim room working on its own, spitting out illusory sheets of white paper under the serene moonlight. What's this? The nits conjured a flame in his palm as he carefully inched forward. This scene reminded him of the horror stories that the pirates often spoke of when they were bragging. There's a problem with the radio transceiver. It's connected to an evil spirit. What the fuck? The nits decided to yell for Gerben Sparrow, like, Gerben! Decided to yell for Gerben Sparrow the moment he discovered anything amiss. As he approached the radio transceiver, he saw several lines of ancient facing on the illusionary sheet of paper. Oh, hell no. Fuck that. Burn that shit, bro. Hello. I sense a familiar but unique aura, but it's about to dissipate. Hello. The nits attempted response. Who are you? Shit, who is it, dude? The radio transceiver produced its clicky clack again. So that's so sick, dude. Spitting out a piece of white paper. What the fuck? What? My name is the Rhodes. In exchange, you have to answer one of my questions. No way. What the fuck is his range? What? I thought at sequence 2 you don't have that much range, you know? Like, what? So wait, how is he like speaking through a receiver? How does this work? Or Rhodes is back. Oh, dude, best waifu is back. Let's go, bro. Are we playing World is White for this? Or I assume there's another chapter. Hold up. I think we gotta read one more chapter before we get to the World is White. But yeah, oh, you deleted something. No, it's okay. I didn't read it. If it was a slight spoiler, Cammy, it's chill. The mirror is here. Let's find out. Let's find out. Yeah, so I assume we're playing World is White soon. Not waifu, butler, but he's the butler. Someone said Rhodes is my favorite waifu, so I was like, it's our waifu. But you're right, butler. The Nits is so far our favorite servant, and Rhodes is our favorite butler. All right. Sharon might low-key be our favorite maid if she decides to like hang out with Klein in the future. Like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with you so I can digest my potion. You never know. But let's keep going. 1 hour, 28 minutes, 39 seconds, chapter 556. It's crazy. My voice sounds clearer and low-key like my voice sounds lower when I'm speaking close to my mic like this. It's so weird, like how I can hear it. Like I hear my own voice in this. That's why I also wear them. That way I can like hear myself. 557 world is white. Bet. We'll like once we finish the chapter, I'll search it up right away. That's wait. I'm not gonna say that word, but I get you. That's the G's. Don't believe them. The G's. Your Rhodes is the butler. Rhodes is a great. Yeah, he's a grade 2 artifact. So how the fuck? How is he able to like make him? I guess there's no range when you're asking the question, right? But I guess like you physically have to be there. But I guess he can work around his like range, right? Like of how far you have to be, right? Because like for like sequence 0, the quill it's like citywide, right? But Rhodes, he can do it through he can ask the question through a telegraph. All right, that's kind of wild. All right, next chapter. I got it ready. Got it ready? Let's fucking go. All right, let me put the volume up. I do like this song, so I'm gonna put the volume up. So if you guys haven't played Final Fantasy 15, this one's called Sominus. Oh wait, grade 0, not sequence 0. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, I misspoke. Yeah, my bad. All right, let's update this sucker. I want to listen to this song as soon as we start the chapter. Beautiful. Chapter 556 is called Discriminatory Treatment. A question. This strange radio transceiver is a little interesting. Then it's clear to stroke. You can ask, but I might not answer. Huh. You think I'm the kind of adventurer or archaeologist who ends up killing himself because of curiosity? Then it's thought with both caution and pride. It took a few seconds for the radio transceiver to produce its clicky-clacky again. An illusory piece of white paper was spat out with the red words on it. Do you have a secret crush on... Nah! He has a secret crush on your captain. Do you have a secret crush on your captain? No, never. No, don't speak nonsense. Who told you that? The Nid's face instantly red. No wonder. He's like, Edwina, take me back. He felt at a loss to have the secret that has been buried deep in his heart for so many years revealed so suddenly. Oh, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I actually don't want Edwina to fall in love with German. I'm gonna feel so bad for Denitz if that happens. He's gonna feel so heart-wrenched if that actually happens. He was embarrassed and ashamed at the same time as subconsciously wanted to deny it. But at the same time, he was also shocked and confused as to how this matter had been discovered by an outsider. He had never told anyone. He had kept the secret very well hidden. Denitz opened his mouth, forced a smile, and... Oh no. Okay, we're back. Oh, that was scary. It said, like, there's something... It said, basically, something. Stream will end shortly unless it reconnects. But we're good. I think it's back. Okay, we're back. Yeah, it said stream was about to end if it didn't reconnect. Okay, we're good. That was a sudden drop. All right. Let's keep reading. No, it's because I'm not strong enough to beat her. Denitz blurted out, his expression twisted. The clacking of the radio transceiver became increasingly brisk. And the words on the illusory white paper increased. A lie. Let's change the question. The type of female you like is beautiful, powerful, mysterious, intelligent, and someone who is able to step over you, right? Whoa, brother. What is he into? Denit's lip quivered as he felt as though the flames were seemingly rising from his body and smoke was billowing from his ears. It's like, how'd you know? At this moment, he felt his state of mind explode. It was as if someone had stripped him naked and tossed him into a busy street. Bro, know what he likes. He definitely knows what he likes. Subconsciously, he looked around in panic, searching and avoiding the gazes that might be cast on him. Then he saw the bedroom door open at some point. German Sparrow stood there quietly in his white shirt, which hadn't been tucked in, and his rather loose black trousers. It was unknown how long he had been watching. You, when did you come out? Didn't stuttered, his face blank. Please tell me you just opened the door. He prayed inwardly. I'm fucking crying, dude. This is so funny. All of Bro Seekers, they literally know everything. Holy shit. Please tell me you just opened the door. He prayed inwardly. Klein walked over to the radio receiver that had become paranormal and answered calmly from the beginning. As a seer, how could I not have sensed the strange activity outside? Even in my sleep, I'll still have my spiritual intuition. Klein chuckled inwardly. Oh, this is so funny. The Nid's face instantly turned ashen. He turned his body into a half circle and rushed towards the radio transceiver that seemed to be possessed by an evil spirit, and embedded to read up the illusory white paper with the 3 questions, but his hand went through the words without him grabbing out anything. A scarlet red fireball formed in the palm against it as he thought, blowing up the damn radio transceiver. At this moment, Gerben Sparrow's cold gaze swept over her. Right, this is the Nid's froze. Looked at Gerben Sparrow step past him and stop in front of the unusual radio transceiver. Erodes, how did it connect to this radio transceiver? It said it sensed a familiar but unique aura which is about to dissipate. It is referring to the aura of the mysterious space above the gray fog. It's crazy that Erodes can sense this, dude. Like, what is the connection? Is it referring to the aura of the mysterious space above the gray fog? The radio transceiver was placed above the gray fog for a few days. Oh, so now Erodes can sense items that have been thrown above the gray fog. So when they're re-rolled, he can like sense where it's coming from. Although it didn't show any abnormal signs, it still came in contact with the aura, and because of its functions, it temporarily received information from the spirit world, and this subsequently discovered by Erodes, the magic mirror that seems to know a lot. Bro, this is so wild, man. Erodes is going to come in clutch in a few volumes, huh? Wait, what kind of question was that? I'm German Sparrow. I'm cold, crazy, adventure. Oh, yeah, what kind of answer is that, German? You should be like, shut up. Don't ask me that. I'm German Sparrow. I'm cold. A crazy adventure. I'm a professional. I can't laugh out loud. Klein suppressed the corners of his mouth and secretly took a deep breath. Then it stole a sidewards glance like a prisoner by the gallows waiting for the noose to be released. Ooh, it's not good. Seeing no change in expression from German Sparrow, he was silent. He was slightly relieved. He was glad that the person who had watched from the side was a madman and not a normal human being. He wouldn't have any interest in such matters. That's what he wants you to think. If it were any other pirate, I would have been too embarrassed to return to the Golden Dream. No, I would be too embarrassed to adventure out at sea. He looked with hatred and fear at the radio transceiver, at the demon who called itself Erodes. Bro is holding in years worth of laughter. It's so funny, dude. He heard them collecting again and again and saw a new piece of white paper spit out from the radio transceiver. There were two neat lines in Loaness. You're loyal and hover. Oh my god. He is... We thought Alger was a glazier. I think Erodes is the new glazier. Your loyal and humble servant, Erodes, is honored to follow you in your footsteps once again, constantly at your service. This isn't the same evil spirit as the Erodes from before, right? The Knit's face twitched and he suddenly felt that whatever happened tonight was surreal. Klein, who went through, like, he's like, what? Like, who is this? Klein, who went through great difficulty to stifle his laughter, keenly caught onto a problem. Erodes wasn't here in person and had likely used the spirit world and the radio transceiver's special function to send messages remote. So he's remotely sending messages to the spirit world, and that's being relayed to the receiver by sensing the gray fog? Damn. Okay. I think I grasped that. Maybe I didn't, but that's how I'm interpreting it. Therefore, when the Knits refused to answer the first question, it was powerless to... Oh. Therefore, when the Knits refused to answer the first question, it was powerless to punish him and could only ask another question. That's interesting. In the future, I'll just need to place the radio transceiver above the gray fog for prolonged periods of time, and I'll be able to make it turn into a unique item that receives spirit world information from ghosts. Wait. I'm sorry. Are you telling me in the future this man is going to be able to talk to like one of the 7 pure lights? Or like maybe like old Neil or like Dunsmith speaks to clients through the radio? Like, hey, it's an old friend. Like, and then he's just like, and then... Oh, hell no. I'm seeing the setup right here. Erodes wasn't here in person and had likely used a spirit world and radio transceiver's special function to send messages remotely. Therefore, when the Knits refused... Okay, I read this part. That's interesting. In the future, I'll just need to place the radio transceiver above the gray fog for prolonged periods of time, and I'll be able to make it turn into a unique item that receives spirit world information from ghosts. Unfortunately, by the law of conservation of beyond characteristics, even with the augmentation of the Grey Fox aura, its extraordinary abilities would dissipate bit by bit, eventually returning to normal. Okay. Yes, to maintain an ordinary item extraordinary traits without the use of beyond characteristics, there's another method, according to my knowledge in mysticism, that is to carve the honorific name of the true name of an angel or even a deity in a language that can stir the powers of nature onto it. This would be equivalent to borrow the target's mysticism and power. Of course, the premise is that they agree I cannot do it myself. At least the piece of paper that I previously used as my bank's passcode in Ancient Hermes hasn't undergone any abnormal changes. It's so funny, he still has money in Beckland. Or was it Tingen connected through the Beckland banks? For real deities, I only know the true names of one. Primordial Demoness Cheek. If I get her honorific name together with her true name, what will happen when I engrave them in Ancient Hermes onto the radio transceiver? I'm sorry, is he even trying to, like, Like, don't do that. Will it release viruses? Will it appear more aesthetically pleasing and in an industrial sense, memorizing those with fetishes? This is reminding me something of The Boys. I'll say there's a guy and there's a tree. Like, is it implying that? Mesmerizing those with fetishes. Yes, the outcome with the greatest possibility is that when carving the honorific name and the true name, the powers of the primordial demoness... What a paragraph. What a paragraph indeed. That's the power of a demoness, man. It ain't that bad. The powers of the primordial demoness will descend, sucking everything dry. Literally, like... Actually, yeah. Sucking everything dry. This is an extremely, extremely precise supernatural direction. Strange thoughts flashed through Klein's mind until the roads greeted him. Perfect. This is a magic mirror that can answer questions. Klein's heart skipped a beat. He turned his head to the sides and said to the Nits, "Go out and guard the door." All right. Without hesitation, the Nits rushed out the door. It's like, get me out of here, dude. He was afraid that the demonator Rhodes would ask him new questions. It's like, I want to speak to him, dude. When the Nits entered the corner and closed the door behind him, Klein turned to the radio transceiver, which was connected to the magic mirror. Rhodes and said in a low voice, "I have some questions. This is my honor. Can I address..." Oh, I have some questions. Rhodes and said in a low voice, "I have some questions. This is my honor. Can I address you as master? The great existence above the spirit world." White paper spat onto the radio transceiver amid clacking sound. "You're too obsequious? I can't read that word. You're too show this. You're too something.
You're too obsequious and...
You're too obsequious and too shameless. Why do I have a nagging feeling that there's a problem?" Klein pondered a little and said, "You can use any form to address me." "Yes, master." Rhodes used an exclamation mark. "What's your question? Where can I find work?" I was like, what question is he going to ask? Mermaids, clearly. "Where can I find mermaids?" Klein asked directly. Amid clacking sounds, the radio transceiver answered, "To the east of the Gargus archipelago. Sail the sea route for a week and there's a chance of meeting mermaids." However, wasn't that already revealed? You sail out for a sea or two and like for a week or two and you might see a mermaid. I forgot. Someone said something along those lines. "To the east of the Gargus archipelago, sail the sea route for a week and there's a chance of meeting mermaids. However, the mermaids there are all believers of the Evernight goddess." Ooh, okay. This is a little amazing is an understatement. This is a little amazing. It's within my expectations, but it's also surprising. Klein realized that his previous speculation had turned into reality in a way he didn't expect. Rhodes continued to type. "If it bothers you, you can continue heading east, but it will be very dangerous. The place is no longer a real ocean, but the ruins of the War of the Gods." What the fuck? But the ruins of the War of Gods. Of course, you definitely wouldn't mind that. Who said that? I was so imagining that with the Sea God Scepter, I would have the chance of encountering even most treacherous of seas. Now, oh, then he can just get rid of it, so it's not a problem. Now you are telling me it's a sea evolved from a battlefield. Ooh. So the remnant, lingering mysticism, like effects of a god, like actually evolved the sea. Like the area of that sea. Indeed, there was a war of the gods in ancient times, the time when the creator reclaimed the ancient gods' authorities. Wait. So the time when the creator reclaimed the ancient gods' authorities. Klein didn't make comment as he watched Rhodes make the radio transceiver produce more words. Fuck, man. So this isn't talking about the ancient sun god taking back the authorities of like the dragons and giants and like other this is something else. Do we know this? I don't remember this is old lore that hasn't been brought up recently. At least in my volume 2 notes, I don't remember seeing this. Or if it was implied, I don't think I caught onto it. In addition, there are rear mermaids in the Church of Evernight's headquarters, in the Cathedral of Serenity, as well as the Sleep Cathedral of Dinos Island. In addition to the Holy Cathedral, there are mermaids on Dino Island as well. The former is too dangerous. They have grade 0 artifacts and powerhouses at the level of the angels. So yeah, we definitely can't go there. The latter can be considered transform into a Nighthawk or a Bishop and sneak in to listen to the singing and consume the potion. Oh my god. That's going to be such a crazy infiltration chapter. That's not right. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. The church rears mermaids to target faceless beyonders, so how can they not be on guard against this point? Yeah, he has to think outside the box. I have to think of another way. Klein was about to ask the second question when he saw a new sheet of white paper come out of the radio transceiver. Great, master. I must abide by certain rules. You must answer a question of mine in exchange. Answer your question. Klein raised his... Watch it be like a... Now, is it going to be like one of his regular questions or going to be like an easy question? Answer your question. Klein raised his eyebrows slightly and waited for Rhodes to look at the question. He decided to acknowledge this servant depending on the situation. Amidst the clacking of Rhodes used words to spell out a question. What are you planning to have for breakfast? Look at this dude asking him simple questions. Dude, what are you planning to have for breakfast today? Nice question. Klein calmly replied, depends on what the inn offers. Fucking Rhodes. Oh, perfect answer, my great master. Rhodes was almost short of giving a round of applause. Like, what a beautiful answer, my great master. He's like, a perfect answer. A perfect answer. This fucking dude. Now, there's really no point when he's going to ask him a serious question. Like, what are you going to have for dinner? Did you go to the bathroom today? Did you wash your hands, my great sir? He's like, yes. Oh, you forgot to? Yes. Beautiful. Indeed. Maybe we should stop. A perfect answer. Rhodes was almost short of giving a round of applause. Without waiting for Klein to speak, it continued to type. The aura above the spirit world is about to disappear. The gray fog. I await the next opportunity to be at your service, great master. After the illusory piece of paper spat out, the radio transceiver stopped and lost its gloomy feel. How many days would it take above the gray fog before I can contact Rhodes again? I'll ask it for the method to remove the mental corruption of a beyonder. Oh, that's a really good question. Definitely fanboying. I'll ask it for the method to remove the mental corruption of a beyonder characteristic the next time. Yes, this method should be used prudently. Rhodes can use the special connection after the radio transceiver is tainted by the aura. Those who are stronger and more terrifying than it might be capable of doing so as well. If I keep doing this, maybe one day I'll get a telegram from the true creator or the primordial demoness. Fucking wild. What a wild, like, hypothesis, right? Klein's mind raised as he noticed the hidden risks. Definitely a lot of hidden risks. All right. Planting a Q on yourself. All right. Let's update our notes and get World is White ready. All right. Hold up. Timestamp. Timestamp is 1 hour, 44 minutes, 27 seconds. Let me check my phone. Let me check on the missus. It's been like an hour. It's been another hour. Let me check on the missus. Let me see how she's holding up. Trying to check on her every 30 minutes. Hold up. Give me a sec. Do you guys hear me if I'm breathing like this, Mike? You guys hear that? Yeah, definitely not favoritism. Rhodes with the Neds. You got a crush on your captain. Rhodes, Klein. What did you want for breakfast? Alright, let me get World is White ready. I'll probably just start playing it right away. Alright, hold up. Let me just get Rhodes is White right away. What the fuck? Let me get World is White up right away. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. Let's see. Let me see. Give me a sec. World is White. Man, I was thinking about getting those new Magic the Gathering commander decks for Final Fantasy, but they're so fucking expensive, man. Oh my god. It's so wild. Oh wait, we're talking about the Ancient Sun God? Well, wait, someone's wallflower is... Can I read that? Where is this coming from? Where's what coming from? Thank you for following, dude. Yeah, that's sick. Thank you, man. Thank you guys for following. Hell yeah. I'll just start looping it already. We'll just have to play the whole chapter, right? Might as well. Alright. I'll just have it ready. I'll turn it up for you guys. The guy randomly talks about ASG. LOL. But yes, you can read. Oh. He is a believer. He definitely a believer of the Ancient Sun God. I just read Ancient Sun God. I was like, wait, hold up. Before I read the whole thing. Like, can I read that? Our Ancient Sun God, City of Silver. Like, we know that. That is fact, but I don't know. Yes, Derek said it a long time ago. Okay, so there was something brought up about him. Okay. So let's keep reading. What games do you play on stream? Oh, first time chatter. Yo, what's up? Welcome. What games do you play? I'll be honest. I haven't played. Wait, hold up. Before we continue reading, I actually haven't been playing that many games on stream. What I usually do is I've been recently reading Lord of the Mysteries, but back then I was playing like Death Stranding or like Monster Hunter or just like other games I like. Like recently I think I was playing Expedition 33. Such a fucking goated game, man. I think that was like my favorite game that I came across, man. And like this whole year, and then like last year I finally beat Baldur's Gate 3. But for now, we're gonna be reading Lord of the Mysteries, chapter 557. So if that's something you'd like to see, stick around for a little bit. When Klein talked about the creator just now, he was talking about the Ancient Sun God. Oh, he was talking about the Ancient Sun God. Got you. Yeah, you're right. He was oh, wait, what the that didn't, like, no, I don't, no. But like, if that's what he's implying, don't worry, it's not a spoiler. Because he's just saying, he said the creator. He didn't necessarily say like the original creator, the creator, like i.e. etc. But we know the Ancient Sun God did take back the authorities from like Ankelwilt, Armir, and so forth. So I guess it could be interpreted that way, right? If like a god fought and like they took their authorities. That's cool. I play Stardew, Resident Evil, and a little bit of Phasmophobia. Ooh, I've been playing Stardew Valley on my phone and on the Switch, man. It's such a fun game to like relax. And also, yeah, I've played all the Resident Evil games, man. Fucking goated ass games. All right, you guys ready? Next chapter. I'm doing my timestamp, and let's keep reading. Don't worry, I want you're starting to remember the name of the odd gods. You know what's, man? I'm so fucking proud of myself after that discussion with Wiz. I'm like slowly recalling more, as also I've been organizing my notes for volume 2. They're coming out pretty good. We've reached a halfway point in my notes out of like that 37 to like 40 page doc, and we've hit the halfway point, so we're almost done. And some stuff was already categorized, so we're actually a little bit past the halfway point, so we're actually almost done. Hey, let's keep reading. All right, here we go. Chapter 557 is called Planting a Q on Herself. Are we talking about Edwina or like what's going on? All right. Oh shit, the Hall family. Oh my god. We are getting used to the lore slowly but surely. It's starting to click after like 500 chapters. Chapter 557 is called A Planting a Q on Herself. East Chester County, the Hall family manor. Audrey sat at the dressing table and lit a candle. Okay, scary. Very mysterious. Afterwards, she looked at herself in the mirror. Across from the slightly swaying light of the fire, her green eyes gradually became deep, making it impossible for anyone who laid eyes on them to shift their eyes away, as if even their souls wished to drown in them. Audrey, you have to remain lucid in your dream, she said to herself softly. This was a simple psychological cue. Wait, is she instilling a psychological cue on herself? I'm probably gonna hold up. Should this be our last chapter, or should we do one more? We can end here. Oh, hold up. Yeah, she's doing it on herself. Hold up. If the missus doesn't need. Okay, I'm gonna do one more chapter. and then I'm gonna go. We're gonna do one more chapter. Yeah, she's in pain. Hold up. Yeah, we're actually just gonna do one more chapter. Yeah, we're gonna do one more chapter and then we're gonna call it out. We're gonna call it a day. We're gonna do 557 and then we're gonna stop right here. All right, you guys ready? Let me reread this. All right, let me read this from the beginning. So actually no, let's take it from here. So she's implanting a psychological cue on herself. No, it's okay. We don't have to stop. We can finish this chapter. This was a simple psychological cue. The ancient folk song she had heard at dusk had inspired her to explore her dreams and see as if she could enter the sea of the subconscious and see in the spiritual skies of all living things. This was an experiment the other psychiatrists have never attempted. I don't know, she can do it. At least there was no similar experiences in the reference materials provided by psychology alchemists, giving oneself a psychological cue to explore their own dreams. Perhaps I might be able to find traces of the Mind Dragon or even the City of Miracles. Livsied? Did I say it right for the first time? Livsied? Ooh, there you go. Livsied. Audrey withdrew her gaze, removed Li, which was now in the form of a ruby necklace. Wait, I skipped the line. Audrey withdrew her gaze, removed Li, which was now in the form of a ruby necklace, and placed it inside a jewelry box. She was afraid of the mystical item that amplified her emotions would affect her while in her dream and cause unnecessary harm. Therefore, she removed it in advance out of caution. After doing all this, Audrey subconsciously looked at her reflection in the mirror and saw a little blemishes on her face. While wearing the lie, she felt that her beauty was intoxicating. Wake up, Audrey, that's only a lie. She lifted her right palm and caressed her cheek. At this moment, she was very glad that she had chosen her name Lie for the... Oh, that's the name, yeah, of the mask. The name, and then she turned it into a necklace. I completely forgot about that, dude. For the mystical item, it kept her constantly alert. Otherwise, she feared that the day she had one day would be completely dependent on it and not want to face her true self. The day she lost it would be very possible that she would lose control. Shit, dude. That's so sick, dude. Oh my god. Oh, she would lose control, dude. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I see your message on Twitch. I mean, you can always just join our server to remind herself to fall into illusion. Dude, that is so sick. Yeah, my bad. Usually when I read a chapter, I wait until the finish of the chapter before I go really into the comments on chat. But let's keep reading. You guys ready? You excited? Dude, this is so crazy. She has to remind herself not to fucking lose control, man. Oh shit, this is so good, dude. This is so fucking sick. Oh, I lost my fucking place. Let me read from here. She walked briskly and expectantly through the warm room in her slippery silk robe. Wait, no, I lied. The day I almost skipped the paragraph. The day she lost it, it would be very possible that she would lose control. Those girls who are relatively ordinary and looking might never wish to take it off of them after wearing a lie to perfect their looks. I read that wrong. They might be willing to die to keep it on them. For a beyonder, I can't have such a state of mind either. Audrey sighed and stood up. She walked briskly and expectantly through the warm room in her slippery silk robe, back to the soft, comfortable, and springy bed, and pulled a rope from the headboard. Her personal maidservant Annie entered and gently extinguished the lights. Before long, Audrey fell asleep. In the haze world, she suddenly jolted to her senses and realized that she was dreaming. Ain't no way, dude. She looked around with interest and silently said to herself, is this what she's known as? She's lucid dreaming? The second I lost my place at the stream, never have I ever. That was the first one. Is this what's known as lucid dreams in psychology? Ain't no way. In mysticism, there is a similar concept. It's relatively effective. I relied on a simple psychological cue that I implanted in myself to get a lucid dream. So you can implant a psychological dream, like you need to lucid dream and then you lucid dream? Audrey, you really are a genius. No. This is mainly the application of a beyond power. I mustn't be arrogant. At this moment, Audrey had already figured out what the current dream was. She was walking along a dark, narrow road surrounded by dark forest. This isn't just a dream. This is going to be some crazy, huge lore revelation. Some form of foreshadowing. Surrounded by a dark forest, and ahead of her was the castle with its spires. Oh, his palace. Yeah. The prolonged howls of the wolves, the slow, frightening gasps, and and it's the dreams of dragons, right? She can only enter it in her dreams. And because she's lucid dreaming, she's aware of her dreams. Okay, that makes sense. The prolonged howls of the wolves, the slow and frightening gasps, and the shrills of the intermediate screams came from every direction, creating a dangerous and depressing atmosphere. I haven't gotten over the fear of Duke Negan's assassination. I'm still afraid that one day many Beyonders would suddenly attack my father, my mother, and my brother. Audrey dissected her dreams from the point of the view of psychiatrists. In this strange, real dream, she walked slowly towards a castle that was almost identical to the Hall family's ancestral house. Oh, wait, hold up. The Hall family's ancestral house. So yeah, this is her first real Beyonder adventure. All right, let's see what happens. Hopefully we're safe. As she walked, a figure suddenly jumped out of the dark forest. It was a gigantic dragon with golden scales all over its body. Its eyes were pale gold with vertical pupils, and its thick tail looked like it could sweep away everything. This dragon's facial features were exactly the same as Audrey's. When paired with its body, it gave off an indescribable feeling of strangeness and horror. Audrey jumped in fright, almost waking up from her dream. Fortunately, having been a spectator before, she was also able to stabilize her emotions in time. This made her realize that she had never really forgotten how she had almost lost control. Back when she had consumed the psychiatrist's potion, back then, her self-relief and improvement in her mood was only superficial. The trauma had already taken root in the depths of her subconscious and would occasionally reflect itself into her dreams. Fortunately, I discovered this today. In the future, I can try to treat this trauma in my subconscious. I am a psychiatrist. If I continue to ignore this issue, I might lose control due to this fear of when advancing to sequence 6. Audrey examined herself carefully. As she walked and stopped, Audrey's dream kept changing in an erratic fashion. It would have been considered quite an unsatisfactory story. Finally, she arrived in front of the castle and saw that an arm-length magic staff sweeping through the air, scattering down specks of light that was as resplendent as starlight. The castle that was shrouded in the light instantly became magnificent and all the gloom disappeared. The melody of a band came from the inside of the castle as one wall lamp after another lit up. This was the most beautiful expectation I had towards the Beyond Her Powers at the very beginning. It really was a little girl's fantasy. The corners of Audrey's mouth curled up and her mood turned for the better. She didn't stop, but she walked past the castle to the edge of her dreams. She didn't care how the scene behind her changed or how the story unfolded. After walking for an unknown period of time, she passed through the barren wasteland and arrived at the top of a cliff. Looking out, the gray, blurry void extended into the distance. The area beneath her was so deep that it seemed to be bottomless, like the abyss. Audrey was keenly aware that this was the boundary of her dreams. When she left, she had no idea what would happen. What's beyond your dreams? Ooh, okay, that's an interesting question. And how do I leave? Jump down? Will I fall to my death? Audrey thought awkwardly, not too courageous and taking the risk. Yeah, don't do that. After thinking for a few seconds, she slowly came up with an idea. This is the dreamland that originates from the world of my mind. As the mistress of this place, I can use my will to open up a path for myself. With the thought of making the attempt, she tried to conjure what she thought would look like just like the way she did it above the gray fog. The only difference was that the former needed the help of Mr. Full, and now she had to rely on herself. Audrey stretched out her right hand, pointing it downwards into the depths of the gray fog. In front of her, the gray fog suddenly surged, revealing layers of stairs that led downwards without an end in sight. So it's a happy abyss. After Audrey... No, I'm kidding. I know it's not the abyss, but cool. Food for thought. Audrey took a slow breath, lifted her skirt slightly, and stepped onto the first step. Step by step, she continued down the stairs. The surroundings grew increasingly quiet, so quiet that it was almost as if she had heard auditory hallucinations. In this place, there was nothing else apart from the gray fog. It was lonely and filled with the unknown. A howling gale blew into the different directions, causing Audrey to sway back and forth. The fear she felt slowly deepened. Before she lost control of her emotions, her green eyes shone with a warm light that seemed to be able to see through the hearts of others. Audrey used her psychoanalysis powers to placate herself. She continued her search. After nearly a minute, a point of light suddenly lit up in the surrounding gray fog. Audrey took a cautious look, only then to the point of light was on herself. I read that wrong. Back when she had just consumed a potion and almost became a dragon monster, while on the verge of losing control. Oh, because it's the dragon pathway. Yes. So she would technically look like a dragon. Losing control, emotions such as worry, horror, fear, and nervousness were clearly overflowing with her. This is my subconscious, so this is my trauma. Audrey vaguely understood where she was after she left her dreamland. She was in no hurry to resolve this trauma. She continued to walk down step by step, filled with anticipation. According to the theories of the psychology alchemist, the subconscious was at the bottom of her destination, the sea of collective subconscious for all living creatures. During her exploration, Audrey once again saw herself listening to her parents' storytelling when she was young. She saw herself someone who valued her image but wasn't actually very elegant deep down. She saw herself participating in the Terror Club, only that all the specks of light regarding the latter were tightly wrapped in the gray fog. There are things in my subconscious that they influence my character and behavior. Audrey instinctively analyzed what she saw with her knowledge of psychology. Amidst the coruscating points of light, there were several times where she was pushed to the verge of an emotional breakpoint due to the lonely, aimless exploration, but she had used her beyond her powers to placate herself in time. Just as she was about to lose all sense of passage of time, she saw the last step. In front of the steps was a solid, blurry, gray ground. Above it, there was a stream of light and shadows. There were a dense and overlapping like an illusionary sea. Whoa, I got lightheaded. Whew. Whoa, I got dizzy out of nowhere. To see a collective subconsciousness, Audrey took a few steps forward and raised her head to look up. I'm feeling what she's feeling right now. To her surprise, the gray fog no longer blocked her vision and the clear high skies appeared. There were countless indescribable silhouettes, 7 of which were... I'm sorry, she's meeting the 7 pure lights? Like all 7? Or is this just like a coincidence? 7 of which were of different colors. They were lustrous brilliances that seemed to possess immense knowledge. It's the pure lights. Audrey pursed her lips and happily said to herself, the sky of spirituality. Then she cautiously moved forward, forging the adventure that she had called her own. Those figures of lights that formed the sea would flash past her from time to time. Some contained ancient memories of being burned by flames, while others bore the excruciating pain of seeing something indescribable. Apart from the imprints of the ancients from ancient times, Audrey also saw the gazes of admiration cast on her one after another, as well as the activities of the people who worship dragons. As she walked, she noticed a grayish-white mountain on the far left. It extended upwards until it emerged from the sea of light and shadows. The top of the mountains were shrouded in a dense fog, making the entire place seem hazy. Is that someone else's consciousness? The sea and the subconscious, and beyond the surface of the sea is the ordinary subconscious. Let me reread that. I did not fully digest that. Is that someone else's subconscious? Wait. So are you telling me beyond your dreams in the dream world is the mind? Oh, shit. It technically would, like, your dreams would be part of the mind world where everything is, like, subconsciously linked. That makes sense, right? That makes sense. Is that someone else's consciousness? The sea is the subconscious, and the beyond the surface of the sea is the ordinary consciousness. Yes, he's dreaming. Audrey suddenly thought of a possible application of psychiatrist. It was to move closer and climb, directly affecting the other party's subconscious thoughts, and then she can digest her potion. Okay, the sea of there is, yeah, they did say that. The sea of collective subconscious. So, like, this is the vast sea of the collective subconsciousness. And they're all connected when they're in this dream state, i.e. the mind world. What the fuck? Dude, it was to move closer and climb up, directly affecting other parties' subconscious thoughts, allowing them to naturally act according to her bidding. So you're instilling a psychological cue on that person, and then you can, like, digest your psychiatrist potion if you just start, you know, like, if you just start, like, psychoanalysing them in their dreams. Okay, but it should be very difficult and very dangerous. Audrey looked away, not daring to make the attempt. She clearly remembered that her purpose this time was to seek out traces of the mind dragon, the city of the miracles, Livseid. I'm saying it wrong. Audrey passed by more than 100 of people's consciousness. Gradually, she felt exhausted. What the dude? Fun fact, Cuttlefish made a whole novel based on this chapter and the Spectre Pathway and the Speak. Really? Can I read that right away, or should we wait until we finish Lord of Mysteries? Because I'm down to read. I want to read that. I want to read all of Cuttlefish's work. I am sold. I am a Cuttlefish stan. I want to read all of his work. Like, I want to read everything there is to read about this man, because I'm really liking this, dude. It's time to return and say, you can. It's pretty short. Bye, DK. Okay. All right, so we'll just double check if it's safe. It's time to return. Instinctively, she raised her head and looked into the distance, rationally making a decision. She stood there for a long time, unwilling to leave. A shadow suddenly appeared in the air just as Audrey was about to turn around. It was a pair of 2 huge gray wings. Under the wings, there was a long lizard-like monster. Its entire body was covered with huge scales that were like grayish white stone slabs. It had 4 thick and powerful legs, seemingly bathing in the sunlight that didn't exist as it flickered. It would seem like the afterglow of setting the sun. The monster flew o'er. Its eyes were pale gold, with its pupils vertical, looking cold and arrogant. Its grand and epic figure quickly disappeared into the sea of subconscious of all living beings. Dragon, a mind dragon. Audrey jumped on the spot and looked around, afraid of others, noticing her elegant behavior. She paced around excitedly, feeling very satisfied with her adventure. Indeed, the tradition of a dragon worshipped here isn't without an origin. In their subconsciousness, there lives a mind dragon. There lives... Wait, what the fuck? In their subconscious, it's living inside their... So it's living within the mind world. Indeed, the tradition of dragon worship here isn't without an origin. In their subconsciousness, there lives a mind dragon. Audrey resisted the urge to praise herself and had decided to return immediately and wake up from the dream. Bro. She didn't have the urge to continue her exploration, and she wasn't prepared for it at all. She was going to consult Mr. Full, Mr. Hangman, and the others in the Turret Club next week in the hope of receiving some advice. Audrey returned the way she came, entering the mountain formed by her subconscious. Then she woke herself up and subconsciously escaped from the dream. At that moment, the Nitz was also... Wait, did she enter the Nitz's dream? At that moment, the Nitz was also permitted to return to his room. He glanced at German Sparrow and said with an embarrassed smile, "You won't tell me anyone what you saw, will you?" Oh, it's like, German? Of course, dude. All right. Oh, I'll just read the next part. Klein didn't answer with yes or no. All right, we'll save that for tomorrow. Let's do overall thoughts. Yeah. All right, let's do that. All right, hold up. Overall thoughts, and let's talk about that. Yeah, we're going to end stream, but let me do this. We're going to do overall thoughts. Let me read what Cami said. I missed that part of where they live. Because I was under the assumption they probably still lived within somewhere in the Forsaken Lands, right? But they said they went out of hiding, which further proves that there's like a physical bridge that can take you from the Forsaken Lands to like the world of Lord of the Mysteries. But let's do this. Okay. Overall, we're gonna do overall thoughts. We're gonna do a quick overall thoughts because we need to go help the missus. But let's do this. Thinking time. Now we got we're gonna see if the POV change. Okay, so there's a lot to think about. Wait, what's Toma music chapters made me crash out? I don't know what's Toma. His other works are really good. I would really love to see. I would love a Throne of Magical Arcana read through. Ooh, we're gonna have to bookmark all this stuff. All right. So mind dragons live within the sea, a collective subconscious apparently, and that it was revealed that there is a mind world. That's what the mind world is. The mind world is a sea of the collective subconscious of other people, where what else did it said? If you master the mind world, you will be able to like subconsciously manifest coincidences, right? Like you will be able to form coincidences in the real world. It said something along those lines. So now we know within your dreams, that is the mind world, because you know, dreams, it's part of the mind, and that's where the dragon, or not dragon imagination, my bad, not Ankworld. That's where mind dragons reside. Okay, so I was under the impression that the mind dragons and like all other dragon races lived in the Forsaken Lands, but I guess that's not true, because it said they escaped and went into hiding in places that like you couldn't find them. You know what? I guess that makes sense. That would include the mind world, because that would be a place where you can find them. Tome is another one of Cuttlefish's novel that's pretty... Oh, Toma is another one of Cuttlefish's novel that's pretty good, but he spent a lot of chapters on music because it's the MC's hobby. Okay. All right. Well, we got a lot more to look into when it comes to Cuttlefish, because there's a lot. I don't know how this man does it. This man's pumping out chapters like there's no tomorrow, bro. I'm ready. I'm excited. Tomorrow, we're going to be back for another 2 to 3 hours. I like music chapters. I feel like they can be fun. I mean, I was a connoisseur when it came to Your Lie in April. I was really into Your Lie in April. I watched a little bit of what's that band? And there was one anime where like it's like a group of band people. I watched a little bit of it, but I never finished that. But I like it. All right, should be fun. We're gonna end it there. I love the Nitz. I find it funny that he has a crush on Edwina, but K-On! Yeah, I saw that one scene where they go to America. That was a pretty funny clip. They were trying to speak English. That was a funny scene. Unless it's K-On! Maybe I'm thinking it was something else. But yeah, we're gonna head out. Now I low-key feel bad for the Nitz, because now it's like I don't want Edwina to like low-key fall for German Sparrow, because then that's gonna break the Nitz's heart, and then now there's gonna be tension between German and the Nitz, you know. But then maybe German will show his true self to him, and be like, hey man, I'm sorry, there's nothing between us. It's cool. My bad. I apologize. But we'll find out. We're going to save that for tomorrow. Bye. Have a beautiful day. And I will see you guys next time. All right. Peace. Later. So tomorrow we will resume from 558. All right. Later, guys. We're going to head out. Wait, hold up. We're still live, though. Let's copy and paste all this. Take care. Oh, yeah. By the way, man. Thank you guys for everybody that's like joined the members. Yeah. So I know we can still add like 2 more emotes. So if you guys have any ideas for more custom emotes, let me know. Yeah. Thank you to everybody. Thank you for everybody that's tuning into the stream. I love you guys. Take care, okay? Cami, username. I forgot who else joined the stream. Romero. I think OG joined for a little bit earlier. D, thank you guys. I know also username, right? Yeah, username. Thank you guys. All right. Have a beautiful day. All right. Later, guys. Switch here. Peace. Have a beautiful day. Later, guys. Yeah, that emote. This is a pretty good emote. All right. Later, guys. But yeah, if you guys have any more ideas, let me know. Let me know.